There we go. And we are up. We are ready. Yeah. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? You know what? I hate
Pretty
fucking.
good,
I hate,
man.
I hate boba tea, dude. I think boba tea is so gross.
You don't
I
like
think
the
it's
balls, bro?
nah. You remember Zorbs or what was that drink from back in the day that had the little balls in it or balls or something like that? It had little
Bro,
jellies in it, and I
I
thought
know
that
what you're
shit was
talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
orbs. I swear to God, it was called orbs, and it was disgusting, dude. And I know it's not
man.
Yeah, they
nothing
had
because
like
they're
the
like
clear
little.
one, right?
Yeah, and they're like little jellies or something,
Yeah.
but it's like fucking. I don't know. That was like for the life of me, I couldn't do like green ketchup or purple mayonnaise or whatever the fuck they were putting out for that minute. I thought it was disgusting, dude. Just kids are gross,
Mm.
dude. They're gross. Kids are
Couldn't afford that, bro.
nasty.
Couldn't afford it.
Kids are fucking gross. What's up? What's going on? It's Crispy back on the Average Boys podcast. It's Sunday night and you're here with us with the boys. And you'll notice Triggs and Brian are not here. They are substituted in right now for the moment for our good friend David from Adam Collections. David, what is up?
What is?
And Tsunade Margaret. What's up, Margaret? Good to have you. Local legend in the Valley scene. One of the people who puts things together and makes things happen. One of the many cogs in the machine that is known as the South Texas area for Comic Con and comic scenes and stuff. Margaret, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, guys, you know, like last week, we had Michael Betancourt on the show. He'd made his return. He'd been out for a minute doing his business. Margaret works very close to him. Mike also has been going through some medical stuff. So if you guys are out there and you guys want to help him out on his page, he has a donation. Hit him up, let him know what's up. Even if you cannot help with any finances, sharing the word, getting the word out, getting more people to see it to kind of help out is like that's a free thing to do, and it's so helpful. Like if you can share his GoFundMe, we'll link it in the page later, and I'll make sure I share it too because I shared it earlier this week. But when Mike is not around, Margaret is the second in command. Margaret is here because Mike is in recovery, and we have some things we're going to be talking about later. I don't know if you guys saw the advertisement on the fucking on the post up that we put up earlier, but there has been some things going on here in the Valley when it comes to the Puro Pinche Party anime convention scene down here in the 956. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We'll get all our nerd issues out first before we get into our heavy heated debates and talks and stuff like that. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. But everybody, let's catch up. David, we had you on the show 2 weeks ago. I want to say like 2 weeks ago.
Like three weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. We're kind of familiar. We do have some information that is coming out about Mr. David. David, where the freak are you at?
What's it called? So I'm back at 3607. We're not open yet to the public, but we're working on some things. So
It's open to me though, folks, because I'm VIP. No, I'm just kidding. It's
that's
not even
not
open to
about
you
it.
guys.
That's trash.
Yeah, it's not open to me. But yeah, so what's been going on? So you got your spot back. You're back to being open, back to being a brick and mortar business.
Yeah.
How do you feel, bro? How do you feel?
So like now I have a real job, right? I'm working back in the number one retailer in the world. I'll let people figure it out. So bro, honestly, I'm just gonna run the website. I'm building it right now, pricing, inventory, and stuff. Just working backwards, bro. I feel like a lot of businesses, especially smaller businesses, don't focus too much on online, right? They focus more in person. So just gonna kind of backtrack it, do it reverse. While she's actually awake.
Oh, Ashley, awake.
She's awake.
What's up, Ashley? Good to see you. Good to see you.
But no, bro. I mean, that's it. So I literally do my shift, come over here, or go before work. So I'm just constantly working, bro.
Good
And
stuff.
I love it. I love being busy, and I love not sleeping. It's a great feeling.
What are we looking at for the date for the official grand opening and all the fucking bandas and Grupo Frontero all at the door or whatever? So
I have no idea, bro. Because like right now, I have Tuesdays and Thursdays kind of off early, but my son has basketball, so I think I'm gonna just kind of like play it by ear. To be honest, I'm gonna just kind of push more of the website, either pickup times or like meetups and stuff in the parking lot. But I am buying a lot. So if anybody's selling collections or knows anybody selling collections, I'm buying. So
Hey, are you what about your nephew? What about Julian?
so I mean, his
Well,
mom.
I know that he's doing some
Yeah,
stuff. He's got family things going on and stuff. But
yeah.
are you probably going to be kind of what? Well, how old's your son?
12, bro. He's a
Oh
nice
yeah,
one.
child labor laws. You can get him in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, he's
I mean,
good.
I make him work anyways, but I'm not gonna put it out there. But he does do some work, for training purposes for school and math.
It's
Yeah.
life. It's life goals. It's dad stuff. We're just making him work. We're not putting him through punishment or
I
stuff
mean, he's
like
got
that.
it easy, bro. He's working in the AC. My dad stuck my ass outside with a machete and a dream, bro. Like,
Yeah.
he
Doing the
good.
work, man. Slave trade. Got it. Doing it. Sweatshopping that kid, man. So you guys heard it here first. Sweatshopping Adam Collections. We got this shit.
Fast,
We're looking out for the young kids. Got to start them early.
Community hours, sir. Community hours.
So what are we looking at for like a day where people can like go inside and beat each other up with like lightsabers and stuff?
If I do anything, it'll probably be March 1st.
Okay, March. Okay.
And if not, maybe sooner. I mean, I'm right now. I had a situation with my father and his health that kind of put me back the 3 days I was going to dedicate to here. But I mean, it'll make it work. Oh, Nico,
What's up, Nico?
Look at this guy.
Nico in the chat. What's up, my dude? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Well, that's good, man. So March is good. Are you gonna do like I said, like you're gonna have like a grand opening, or are you gonna kind of have it like chill, or what's your ultimate goal in this, man?
I mean, ultimately, I'm just gonna go backwards, bro. Build the website, let the stuff sell while I'm at work. Come pack and go, and then eventually move on to the brick and mortar. Just transfer the skill set into a bigger shop, and that's kind of what I'm aiming for, to be honest.
Are you gonna have like little people wrestling, or like is it still legal to say midget wrestling, or is that like is that fundamentally wrong to say?
Bro, I don't know, man, because now it's just like female and male, right? That's what Trump said. So I have no idea, bro.
No, it's like I know we all know that for years it's been like you can like it's kind of offensive to say like the word like midget people, right, or little people, right, but nanitos or whatever. But they still use midget wrestling as the ideal term, right?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I haven't seen any midget wrestling in a minute.
Margaret, you know this? You know the answer to this?
They have that because they have they do like shows in Alamo at the Landmark, and it's advertised as midget wrestling.
Midget wrestling, right?
So
interesting.
Yeah. So
they're still using the term. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that that's the correct term. I don't want to say it like weird, but I was gonna say like David, let's get some midget wrestlers out there into your place, dude, and get some fucking action going on.
Bro, everybody's short compared to me, bro. It's gonna be hard.
Everyone's legal to join the show. Everyone's legal. Jump in, guys. You don't have to be this tall to ride. Get in and get it. No, well, that's cool, man. Like, I'm happy that you're back up. You're in the same spot, moved you into a bigger spot in the area. Like, I'm really happy. No more fires, no more fire damage. Everything's good to go. Like, what a good way to start a fresh start, especially in 2025. I know that 2025 has already started off on a weird ass fucking step, but yeah, that's just life. Margaret. It's good to have you on the show. I feel like I don't get to talk to you much. I feel like the only time I get to talk to Margaret and she's like, yo, Chris, there's some shit going down. And I'm like, tell me. So for me, like I've been super excommunicated from a lot of the convention scenes and all this stuff. I kind of removed myself like early mid 2024. I didn't really I'm not really building comic or costumes anymore. Barely going, barely surviving. I think it's like, there's just a lot of like, I don't know, just weird vibes when I go to the conventions. I don't really feel comfortable as much. I miss my friends and the people I see, the old school people, Margaret, Dave, Ram, all the guys that I get to see. I miss those people, but like, man, dude, some people are toxic as fuck, man. So it's like I have to just stay away from these people. If not, I'm just gonna get like an assault charge thrown at me. So I'm just gonna be beating. I'm just gonna be swinging on the way out for the Emperor or something like that. I don't know. I'll just be fucking beating the shit out of everybody's for Space King. But yeah, Margaret, it's good to see you back. It's good to see you back in the reigns, helping out with Sanrio, helping out with all the Sailor Moon events and stuff like that over there in the Mission area. And of course, you have yours, which is like Poke Fest and all the other events that you get to help with, all the big ones too. So, Margaret, what do you got going on? What do you got that has been going on for 2024 and 2025?
Pretty much the Sanrio one, we were doing Ghibli in December. And then for Sanrio, we're going to be doing it again, Mission in March 22nd. It's going to be the one that we're working on right now. There also was another big project aside from PokeFest, right? We had our meeting and stuff, and we're getting the ball rolling. So we'll be announcing the date soon, But it's as always a big show like that. It's a lot of little details you have to get first before, And I get some messages from people that are excited. They're like, "Yeah, let me know when I can pay you." Like people were trying to pay me like last year, and I'm like, "Hey, we're in December, man. Like you gotta wait, Like I understand, but just wait, not right now." And they're like, "Oh, okay." The new project that I'm working on that I'm very excited for that has been in the works for a while is one called Mexicon, and that's going to be happening in Mission in August 23rd and 24th. And that one is going to be basically a Mexican American convention where the guests are the Spanish voice actors and actresses, and from novelas, shows, and like anime stuff. Sort of like for the people that grew up watching TV Azteca, or watch the novelas with their parents or the mom or something. It's like it's going to be a multicultural thing. And so a lot of people are super excited about that one. We just started advertising, I believe, last week, and they had started advertising before, but they gave me the go ahead, like, yeah, go ahead, put the flyer out, and that was on Monday. And as soon as they saw it on my Facebook, I got hit up with a lot of people like, hey, can you give me more info? And I'm like, yeah, I got it right here. Let me send it out. So
Yeah,
we working behind the scenes like right here.
I was kind of taken because I had been seeing advertisement posts like on social media about it, and I was like, whoa, where's this from? That's wild. And it's at the Mission Event Center, right? So like I think technically it's going to be like the first pretty normal large, like normal to large size, like official con in the event center, right? It's going to be like the first one, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I know they've had markets there before, but it wasn't like what we're planning here. And this one, it's going to be very different. So, like, people from Mexico have heard about it already because the guests, we just announced our first guest, and it's the voice of Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, Gerardo.
Hey.
Yeah,
That's
so he's starting in posting.
Yay, Derpy, that's a great logo, dude. Yeah, that's a great logo. And also in the comment section, Leo Villanueva, thanks for coming to the show, says, when is PokeFest this year?
Leo's from my work. He wants a day off. That's why he wants the days off, I guess.
Okay.
He wants to request it.
We haven't announced the date yet. We're usually January, we get everything set up, and then we announce the date. But I can tell you we were looking at the dates in July, and there was some conflict, so we might be doing a little bit earlier. Just to let you know. I won't tell you the date yet because we got to obviously get everything ready. But
that's a surprise, man, guys.
We can tell Leo, like, hey,
you got to chill on that,
Leo.
For PokeFest and stuff like that, are you planning this year on bringing any like special guests? Maybe like you don't have to give us a name, but just like at least acknowledging the fact that there might be like some guests that we're bringing down. Something that's like enticing for the audience this year that might be a little bit maybe different or a different take on how we're approaching it.
Well, I mean, last year we had Stephanie Naldoni, and then we had I forgot his name, but he was the voice of Wesker, Albert Wesker from Resident Evil.
From Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, I forgot it. Yeah. Oh man, I forgot the name of the gentleman. But they came down and stuff, and they had a blast, and they were like, we had a lot of fun. And then we also had a out of town cosplayer that came in, also with them, and that was thanks to Press Start Gaming, and also I think it was another sponsor that we came in that brought in and helped out. But this year we do have some ideas, but like I said, it's being worked on. Because as you know, it takes time to bring in the guests and get the money together and properly do it. And make sure that everything's like all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and stuff like that. But yeah, now I'll just say that it's being worked on. We got some ideas and stuff. So the guys. We are looking at a 2-day event at some point, but this year it's still going to be 1 day. With the economy and everything, like we wanted the vendors and everybody to be prepared when we make the jump to 2 days. If in the future at some point, we want to announce it with time, so it's not a sudden drop, and everybody be ready, like to organically get to it. So, the point and
Adrian
stuff.
in the comment section asked PokeFest. Yes, it is indoors. It's in the McAllen Convention Center. It is very nice, very cool. Always, Margaret has a really, really good way of how she sets up the tables and booths and all the vendor spots that it always feels like there's enough room for everybody to move around comfortably without, banging into each other or getting hit with like some fucking crazy costume bullshit or whatever. Or, it's just nice. It's really, really open. It's very great. I've always liked the way you've run your Pokemon convention. Like I've always loved it. I think you've just done a fantastic job with it. And it's always so community based because like it's very like affordable for entry fees, right? Like it's always like low price, but like there's always like just full convention feel. I've always loved the way that it is. So guys, you make sure. And then this year, holy shit, like I'm already gonna start cussing because it's great. It's fantastic. Like we were just talking about this off scene, but the Pokemon card bullshit is out of this world. So Margaret, let me ask you as a person running the event based on this thing on popularity, are you going to kind of like cater to that trend? Like, are you going to try to see how many more people you can bring in with as many more different like cards or is there like going to be something where you're going to kind of like, well, let me chill this out because everybody that does everything else needs to get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very difficult because one, we know that there's a huge, my mom's like, no cussing. Mom, too late. Is there like are you gonna like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird question.
Yeah.
But like I would see it as like, even David as a businessman would probably see this shit too, man. So
me and the team, me and my staff, the guys and I always have believed that, because some people only go to PokeFest for the gaming, right? Or some people only go for the tournament. Other people go for the vendors. Other people go for the cosplay. So even though, like, let's say I'm not a card game person, I will still want to have something for the people that are. So there's a little bit of things for everybody. Last year we did add, we had a complaint, but from somebody that had posted a post on their Facebook, and I got told about it, and I was like, oh, okay. So what we did is we added more TCG people, and of course we work with the Stronghold, so they have a whole big area for themselves, and they run the tournaments and stuff.
I do.
So we did add other people that had,
I do remember that. Yeah,
they set up their whole table like their whole booth like little carnival area and a Pokemart. So they made the booth look like a shop and stuff. And then they ran the tournaments and stuff, and they've been running our tournaments forever. But aside from that, since if people were going to go only for cards, we did add vendors that had specifically cards and had slabs and, rare ones and graded stuff to, for the clientele that wanted to go and get some things. And there was this big hit. Like, I think the only thing that we didn't get to add because of timing or like lack of time was to have an area for trading. Because I think that would be kind of cool. Because I know back in the day they had like the Funko. Yeah, they had the Funko things where you get your Funkos and then you trade them up with, other people and whatnot. Yeah, and then so that's what I was like. Yeah, so we do want we know it's a thing right now. It is important, and to ignore it would be a foolish. So we are gonna.
Would be really cool.
Give it space.
You know how you do like those badass cutout, like you always have so cool like you guys always do these really, I can't even fucking explain it because I'm so lost on it. Like they're really cool cutout like designs of like backdrops and stuff like that you do. You should make like an entrance arc of like a Pokemon trading center, and then have it where people can walk in like the two doors and then have like just regular tables or whatever on the inside with chairs. That would be dope. And then you have like a volunteer dressed up as like, I don't know, like a Nurse Joy or something like that, or a Professor Oak, like, hey, everybody, like come and trade your shit or whatever. That would be like, that would be cool,
like
man.
Oh, man. We used to have so many people cosplay professors that one year, I believe it was like, I think it was the fourth PokeFest. He was going around and collecting professors, like taking pictures with them. And it's like, yeah, no, we try to do something interactive like that. We do have some stuff that I didn't get to do last year because last year it was dragons, right? So we had the waterfall over by the cosplay guests. So the giant Gyarados coming out of the waterfall, and it's like, if you know, like the whole myth about them Magikarp getting into the waterfall, turning into Gyarados and stuff. So a lot of people are like, dude, like that's pretty cool. So we have a lot of stuff for production, like little things like that. Because I think interactive stuff, people remember that.
Yeah, yeah,
They
oh,
have like, oh yeah, even if it's something small, they went and took a picture. They're like, oh, or mascot or something.
yeah. Hmm.
Um. So yeah, but no,
Well,
we are going to give it space for the TCG area and stuff, and collectors and whatnot. But we're not going to overdo it where it gets lost and others like it takes up space of the other ones because we want to
yeah.
have something balanced for something for everybody.
But I was gonna say, like, okay,
Mhm.
like so like David, vendor, right? So your
Mhm.
perspective is a little bit different. Like you've always been like a pops guy, right? Like pops and like little you've got into the comic book scene for a little bit. I think you started doing that like mid, maybe even early 2024, right? Where you were getting boxes of comics and then
Yep.
selling those as is. But now you're starting to see a jump in the Pokemon shit, like the cards and stuff. And I know that's not like something that you were into before, but now it's something that you're like, okay, I have to adjust. If I want to be making money, I need to move with the money. So
Right.
now you're probably starting to get into, like Margaret said, slabs. You're starting to understand the Pokemon Rolodex of like Beckett's and prices and things like that. How has it changed the way you've approached your store and vendoring when it comes to conventions? And what are you looking forward to for these type of conventions that are coming up in theme of Pokemon?
I mean, any conventions, you just want to have what's trending. I try to cater more to the younger adults, so I'm trying to hit that 18 to 24. I feel like the footprint between 25 and 35, you're already established. You already have so much money that you can spare. So I'm trying to pick at the younger kids' money. You know what I mean? Like that ice cream
Mm-hmm.
money. I need
Yep.
that ice cream money. So by getting the Pokemon cards and getting those singles at a good deal and passing on the savings, I'm able to pick at that crowd while also being able to get to the older adults who are going to make that one big purchase. Right. So I want to make
Mhm.
that one big purchase, and then I want the kids to come in, kind of pick up those little crumbs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Really good idea, Margaret. I'm gonna give you this one for free. You could run with it or not, or put my logo at the bottom or whatever. Collectible cards. Start some year with collectible cards, custom cards for the first 50
Ooh.
people, VIP boxes. It's all TCG. I mean, that's something that's gonna definitely kick off with the hype that's going on.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
you know, we actually had something in the works for last year because we had our guest, right? And we did the Year of the Dragon, right? So we had done a Pokemon Dragon Ball Z crossover thing, but it didn't get off the ground. We ran out of time before we got it, but we had it was already done. It was something that was going to be a special print and stuff, and we were going to get cards made, but it didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But we usually what we do is that any idea that we had that we were like, oh, that's a good idea, we weren't able to use it last year. We're going to use it for this year or like in the future.
Okay, that
So, but
works.
yeah, no, yeah, it's a good idea. Like I think some people like we did the shirts last year, and everybody those shirts sold out, man. And
Like real
then
quick.
we got some people who were like, "Hey, do you have any more?" Yeah, they sold out real quick. Michael was at the info booth selling the shirts, wheeling and dealing, and he was like, "Yeah, we're out, man. We're all out." And people wanted to buy the display one, and so we sold the display one, and and it's like, are you guys gonna have any more? And stuff. But yeah, the card
Yo,
ones would
just
be pretty cool.
just by chance, like who's your guys' artist?
Eddie Levaya.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah,
You did good last year. Let's bring it this year,
yeah.
boy. That's gonna
Actually,
be
I just
dope.
talked to him yesterday because he saw my post and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, while I have you here, this is the theme for this year and stuff." And he's like, "Oh, okay. So we're gonna brainstorm later." And he's really good. He did really good art, and we have our little mascot girl, but we haven't named her yet. So,
Okay.
but she's the one that shows up on the posters. She was originally designed by Tony Salvarera, Shake and Bake Art, and it's like the girl with the blue hair and a magic carp hat. And then now we just kind of ran with her for like all these last posters. So
That's
we'll be
dope.
seeing a new one, shortly when we announce everything. So,
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome. Well, you
Very
know
mhm.
nice.
what? Like we've got some really, really nice momentum. We've been able to catch up about the scene. Got all
Fucking
this
Dale.
stuff going on. Dell, what's up, Dell? Good to see you in the comment section. We have not released the date for PokeFest yet. It will be coming up soon. Not this show, though. Margaret will be making the announcement soon. Hold your horses, buddy. Yeah, hold your horses. But they'll get it out there soon. But good
don't
to see
worry,
you, man.
we'll be announcing soon once we get everything ready. Because like there's a certain rule that we do. which is like you get the location first, the date, and then the theme, right? So we're in the process. So like it won't be that long, guys. So you won't have to wait that long.
Yeah, be
But
patient. Stop
soon.
being houndy. Stop hounding us. But
They're excited,
also,
man. They're excited.
yeah. I tell you, man, like your guys' event is so fun. And like I said, what makes it so enticing too and so good is like the hashtag canceled, hashtag Johnny Zamora, hashtag. No, I'm just kidding. We're not gonna get into that yet. Actually, yeah, fuck it. Also Derpy, I'll check it out in a bit. We're gonna be talking our nerd stuff in a little bit. I got my two homies on the show right now. What's up, Juan? Good to see you, my man. But it's because we brought you guys on. We were gonna talk some nerd shit, but I think we were talking about it earlier. How Margaret was like, "Man, I don't fucking know that stuff. Like, don't bring that shit on me, boy, or whatever." And I was like, "All right, my bad, Margaret, my bad." But we do want to talk about stuff a little bit later, which is what was it? I talked about it earlier, right? Well, the Superman gonna get sued. Captain America Brand New World had drama with Anthony Mackie talking about American values and morals, and then Chris Evans, of course, came out of his closet or out of the basement to kind of like try to defend him, and it didn't really work out too well with both of them. But I think it's because the movie was already going in shambles. Like a lot of people are already talking bad about it, but we'll cover that a little bit later. Because there's funny shit that we want to talk about right now, which is things that we've had conversations about in the past, right, Margaret? And David, too. I think David and I have talked about this shit randomly in his Grind My Gears podcast a while back. We never shy away from this stuff. And the reason why is not because we're haters or we're jealous of people and their success, because they're not successful, they're dumb. We call them out because all of us in our own individual way are trying to build a better scene for the cosplay community in the Valley. We want people to understand that we love it down here. We're about it. We're trying to make it entertaining for the community, for those who are nerds and not nerds, or anime lovers or not anime lovers. We want everybody to come and enjoy and to build the next best great thing. I think we all have a mad amount of respect for the footprints and the steps that Ramsey Ramirez has made with South Texas and his success in all his shows. And I think everybody looks up to him and says, hey, you know what? Like, I want to do that too. He has inspired me. Right. With that being said, there is a group of other people that are like, nah, he doesn't inspire me. I could do better because I'm so much cooler, whatever the fuck. With that being said, fuck these guys. Let's talk about it. Lighthouse Mitsuri. Yeah. Let's talk about their newest success, guys.
Oh my God.
Maybe they just strive on the success of the idea of like fucking up really bad. But you know what? Like, I want to kind of like hear it out, right? Like, so me, I had a really fucking cool weekend. I had a really busy weekend. I had to go, we had two of our fighters fighting at the Pain Arena. So we had a big MMA event. It was a really nice event. UWF, the Ultimate Warrior Fighting Championships. It was really, really cool. It did as well as it did. My fighters went out there and did their jobs. And even though we came up short, the learning experiences, no injuries. But what was crazy is the first thing was I got a phone call from David while I was there, but I could not answer because we were in the rules meeting. And then later, not too long after that, I shortly got a call from a number, and it happened to be Margaret's number. And in my mind, I was like, oh man, something's happening. Like there's something going down. And then of course, our good friend George from Laredo hit me up, photographer Georgie, hit me up, and he was able to give me the rundown because I was already done doing mitts. We were in the breakdown time. We were just waiting for our opportunities to go up and get done. And he kind of let me know the fucking footnotes of all the drama that was going on with this convention, and a podcast that had been published from a group of people that were not from the Valley, right? If I'm not mistaken, these guys are not from the Valley. They're from a bigger city.
They're from Houston.
There you go. They're from Houston, which means Johnny made it. Johnny made it. Someone out of the Valley is talking about him now in such a positive light. But we've had conversation about Johnny Zamora in the past, in the what was their old show, the Super Anime Reborn, and all this other shit that they would do back in the day, Bonsai Con, and all this stuff that we've warned people about, and let them know that he needs to mature a lot in this level. And somewhere out there right now, he's standing on a rooftop with a Rey Mysterio mask, trying to look down at the city like he's done some shit. But let's, Margaret, let me let you in there. David saw the podcast too, right? David, you've seen it.
Yes.
I'm out of the loop. I have not seen this podcast. And Margaret, of course, you've seen the podcast. You know all about this. You're actually in conversation with the people that did the podcast. You actually got to talk to them a little bit on your own, right?
Yeah, I sent them a message and I was like, "Hey, thank you for putting up the video
Yeah.
because a lot of people, because we have a lot of new vendors and stuff out here, and they don't know what happened like back in the day, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, right?
Yep.
And unfortunately, they get uh, pitched this idea for like your shows and stuff, and they don't know who's legit and who's not, because there's a few other ones that have popped up now. And I got sent the podcast, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" Right? And then as soon as I clicked in, that the title, Lighthouse Missouri Aftermath, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. It's gonna be one of those days." Like, all right. So 3 hours later, I sat down and I watched the whole thing, and then I was like, "Oh, it's really bad." It was triggering me as the coordinator and stuff, and I know that some of my friends were over there as vendors because it was the same day as the Ultra Gaming Expo, but theirs was a 2-day event, right? So I had heard that some stuff had happened. I did get some messages or like, "Oh, well, this happened," and then I saw that there was a post that was made on Instagram by, I believe it's Tokyo Houston and stuff, where they were saying that, that they had just been at the show, they had been sponsors for the show and vendors, right? But they didn't go too much into detail, but that they were just trying to help out, and they had offered guests to Johnny, and but they were not owners at all. They wanted to make that 100% clear, and then that any refunds and problems and stuff, they tagged them on Instagram at the Geek Hustler and at Lighthouse Missouri, and I was like, "Oh no, yeah, valio, man!" Like, and I was like, "Okay, well, let's see what happens," right? Because it's been 10 plus years, man. Like, this guy is always doing, and it's similar stuff. And in the podcast, one of the biggest things that was triggering me was the whole, they took his vendor coordinator, who he threw to the wolves apparently, to handle that stuff, to handle all the problems. They had initially been told that I guess it was gonna be like a early setup Friday and then Saturday and Sunday event, right? Well, they find out that Friday wasn't even rented out. And then when they confronted him, like, what happened? That he made a comment of like, "Oh, it's because the venue got greedy." And I was like, 10 years might have passed and stuff. A long time it might have passed, but the same excuses. And it reminds me of the whole Todd Habercorn situation where he was like, "Well, why isn't he coming down?" Right? He was canceled. And it was like, "Oh, no, it's because he got greedy and this and that." And then Todd, of course, responded, and that turned into another freaking fiasco. And so I was like, "Oh, here we go again," like the excuses. Um, the thing I think that got me the most was that they told them that the setup was 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and that he had vendors from out of town, from Houston, that were coming in. And the coordinator decided to make a decision. And she told some of them, because they were like, "Well, there was empty tables." It's like, no, I called them. I don't know the girl's name, but she made the call and told them, "Hey, just don't bother coming. Like, just cut your losses. You won't make gas money," which is what it was, a quote that she said. Because they were coming in from Houston, dude. Imagine coming in all night, all nighter,
12-hour ride, dude.
set up, rush, right? Yeah. And then the next day, I believe the hours of the show were also changed last minute. And like, that was like a lot of flags. And I believe somewhere in the podcast, she said that she actually quit like the main day because she saw too many like red flags. And I was like, "Oh man." But I was just like, "Oh, it's always with the vendors." Like, like some people didn't make their table back. Some did, right? Some didn't even know that was going on. And then others got mad and upset. And these were because I got messages from people as soon as I put a post up like that there was something going on. They found out that some people had gotten a certain price for the table and others had been charged more.
Oh my god.
So there was like a lot of and like in the podcast they talk about embezzlement and stuff, and like, well, what happened with the money here, right? Because even the coordinator said that he had gotten like, I don't know, like 2,000 or 2,500 or something from somebody, a friend of hers, for the show, and then when she went to go ask where did this money go, the excuse Johnny gave her was, well, it's been invested into the show, but it didn't give her like more info from that and stuff. And I'm like, man, like all like I've seen this happen so many times. I've seen it happen with VeroniCon. I've seen it happen with ChibiCon. I've seen it happen with the Cherry Blossom Festival. You know, there's a reason why McAllen Convention Center. Yeah, there's a reason why they're in the Michigan in the McAllen Convention Center. There's a paper now that you have to fill out when you want to do events, and they'll check your background to see if you're good because of the Cherry Blossom Festival that happened there. That if I remember correctly, it was around the time KishiCon was around there. There was another smaller event that's no longer around. Booths were sold to vendors, and I remember being at KishiCon and seeing the post go up, like, "Hey, we're here" on the event page. So they're telling us that there's no event. Like, what's going on? We talked to security, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like, you know, it hits you, gotcha, because the vendors are hurting. You know, like they paid X amount and then to show up and be turned away at the door because guess what? There's no event. You know, like stuff like that. And then it's like BonsaiCon happened in 2022. We all know what happened there. They ate Josh alive. Basically, that's the best thing I can describe it as. And I was like, all right, man. Did I lie about all the stuff that I warned people about? Obviously not, you know. But that's when I noticed that you know, Johnny started doing little events and stuff, and that's like, oh, okay, because the heat's not on them anymore, right? Somebody else, they hate BonsaiCon now more. It's like,
but did they change the name from it to some other bullshit now to try to hide it up or something?
Yeah, Reverie Expo.
Whatever the fuck that
it's
means.
Reverie Expo.
Whatever
it's like a celebration or something, but yeah.
All right, so let me ask then, David. Well, hold on, Mark, because you have a lot of information about this. You have like oodles and oodles of like lore. The Johnny Zamora Warhammer universe is like it's infinite. It's infinite, right? But David, you're kind of new to all of this, right? Like you know you've heard about like bonsai and super anime, and you know you've heard us trickle into this idea of like that some of these guys are really fucking idiots and like they're dumb and all this stuff. And it's like, I could see how a person in your thing is like, wow, man, like Chris called those guys fucking idiots. Like he probably just doesn't like them or something. Like that's super funny. But now you get to see an entire 3-hour podcast dedicated to them, like warning people about this guy's, you know, whole shtick. And then hearing Margaret talk about all this stuff from the past and comparing it to other conventions in the past, like, how do you see it? Because it's different, because those guys are the ones that will approach you and be like, hey, man, it'd be really cool if you brought your, you know, your company or your business to our event over here in Harlingen, and it's so cool, and we're so hip and part of the trend, and I like to do the TikTok dances or whatever the fuck. Like, and now you see that this guy's full of shit, right? How do you feel about it? Like, just listening to all of this craziness, dude. Like, it's got to be like the wildest fucking story, dude.
I mean, it's entertaining, bro. You know, I was blessed, bro. I mean, I guess I've always been a transparent person. Even when we, you know, with Fred and Jay, when we were doing the collector events, you know, we were able to branch out, get a lot of new vendors. We would always turn vendors. We would never try to sign up the same one twice just to mix it up. But, you know, through that, I learned about Johnny's, and actually more through Margaret. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, the name would pop up a lot, and I'm like, interesting and this and that, because, you know, you hear about those markets that are kind of like, you know, those one and dones and stuff.
Nightmares, man.
Yeah, and you're just like, somebody would actually do that. But more so, I remember it started hitting me when one time I think Fred did an event in the Harlingen Convention Center, and I guess whoever runs it was talking to Fred, recognized the logo, was like, hey, why don't you do your markets here? And Fred's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, we'll email you. And Fred's like, dude, we ain't doing it in Harlingen, bro. Like, we don't got the crowd, we don't have the customer base. Like, I'm like, nah, just like we don't. We're not Lower Valley established. Like, it would be just suicide for us. And then anyone that we brought with us, you know, we don't want to take everybody down with us, right? Yeah. But I can tell, like, just with this guy and what he's done, like, bro, like, it's just crazy to me, like, how you can just be such a shit person, bro. Like, if you know it's not working, why would you continue to keep going, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay if you have a bad event, or let's say your crowd doesn't turn, or you don't hit the numbers that you want, or you have a really good first event and event 2 or 3 or 4 are bad. If you accept the feedback, then that's good,
Yep.
But if you're gonna just kind of keep riding the high horse, and then every single event you just hear the same thing, kind of like Margaret said, right? Misallocated funds and so forth. When I heard this lady talk, bro, she's like, I wasted $600 of my own money to boost post. And I'm thinking in my brain, like, dude, like, how the fuck you gonna have somebody else invest their money into that and not even give them the money back? Like, that's just kind of a shitty person. And then Wyoming Margaret covered the fact that, she reached out to another vendor, got $2,500 in less than 24 hours, which, even getting sponsors, bro, for some events is hard. I mean, I've had some sponsors before, and I'm just like, okay, like, you know what, just $100 each, boom, 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 cuts the flyer cost for me. I pass it on to the vendors, gonna have to charge them and so forth. Like, those are the type of things that I'm doing just to benefit the vendors. I'm not trying to take the money for myself or whatever it is. But it's just crazy, bro.
Mhm.
Like, to see the same problems repeated, whether it was 10 years ago or now, and then some vendors just acting like they've never heard it, or they're going to give this guy a second chance. I mean, how many chances are you actually going to give somebody until they just make it bad for everybody? Because
Yep.
what if somebody in Harlingen wants to contact Margaret for PokeFest and be like, well, I did this Lighthouse one and this Bonsai one. Are you going to be doing the same shit?
Yeah,
Margaret
because it
Oh, I
trickles down,
have.
right?
I've gotten a couple of those. Like,
Yeah.
well, what's the difference between this one and yours? And I'm like, oh well, let me show you. And then, like, fortunately we're established already, so I'm like, also we're doing this, and this, and unlike other people, I'm actually on site, not eating pizza or something.
Yeah, not at Pizza Hut fucking off.
Yeah,
God,
exactly.
that's such a great story
And
too.
that's the thing, bro.
That
Like,
that
it
that
hurts.
should be the red flag right there, man.
Yeah.
You know.
It definitely hurts the credibility for like Margaret wanting to build more and get more, because you're gonna have to work twice as hard to sell yourself for somebody. Because I mean, you're in a position where either you're gonna let them join the ship and grow, or you're just gonna be like, well, whenever you're ready, let me know, right? But at the end of the day, the community is all tied, all like among each other. Like, you're gonna know, but you can't let one guy dictate for the entire valley of organizers and collectors of what they're doing. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So one day we're probably gonna have to have like a Johnny Zamora like recovery anonymous group that has to meet up and probably talk to each other, like more than likely, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's just fucking weird, man. Like again, I don't really have anything against this dude. Like I really don't. Like I know he's never really stolen money from me. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like one of those things. Like you look at this guy and you're like, bro, like when are you gonna realize that you're doing something wrong? Like you're doing something completely, and you're bamboozling the fuck out of people with their money, dude. Like I don't understand, because I mean, Margaret, you and I talked about it a little bit when we were on the phone the other day, right? And we said that he does have like a person that comes in and helps him financially, like with a lot of this stuff, and puts the money down. And it kind of baffles me in the sense of how these people keep getting money to afford some of the stuff. Because what's crazy is like I'm not gonna lie, like the little kid inside of me has always been like, hey, I want to have my own party. I want to do my own convention and bring in a bunch of people and do some shit. I would love to host one. But of course, like the finances and making sure the schedule is correct, bringing the right type of people and the right type of team. There's always like, to get the machine correct, to be able to do it correctly. Like that is like it gives you like anxiety, almost like a nerve-wracking situation, because you just want it to be good. You just want it to be good. But this guy literally like shows up to bungee jumping without tying his feet down. Like he's just ready to jump off the bridge. Like I don't quite understand this dude. Like he knows, like it's almost like you said, like just on the factor, anybody that's here in the comment section, Margaret, yourself, you run conventions, David, you've done outdoor pop-up events, have any time in your career of doing this, or any time that you've done it, have you ever been like, yo, let me go get a beer at Pizza Hut while the convention is going on? Like at the heart of the time of it, like at the most critical time. And even like just a pop-up vendor, like, the pop-up outside the store back in the day, David, like when it was like the peak time, would you be like, fuck it, I'm going to go to Wendy's, which is right across the street, and just fucking get a beer and chill the fuck out and do all that stuff? Like, would that be a purpose? I'm going to bring Trigger in. Trigger just jumped in right now. Let me get him on stage. What's up, Triggs? Good to have you. We are talking about Fury and the drama. So we got Margaret and David in the show. Have you, David? Good to have you, Triggs. So we're gonna let them. The question is, I don't know, Triggs, if you're familiar with this guy that used to run Lighthouse Maturi in Harlingen or Bonsai Con or Anime Reborn. His name's Johnny Zamora. He's pretty well synonymous. Oh yeah. You see, I said the name. Like I was saying the name of the event, and Trigger was like, doesn't. And the moment I said Johnny Zamora, he's like, oh
no. I knew Bonsai Con. Like I knew him from
Bonsai. Bonsai Con, yeah. But I hear Johnny Zamora, and he's like, fuck that guy. He's bad. But like I said, we're asking the question because he just ran an event called Lighthouse Maturi. They got called out on a pretty well-known podcast in Houston. It was a 3-hour podcast of them tearing the fuck up out of the show. And that's because they were here as vendors. And this guy decided.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
This guy, okay, this is this is where the comment comes from, or the question. This dude, during the show when it was failing, decided to leave, go get a beer with his cousin at Pizza Hut in the middle of the convention. In the middle, just abandoned ship. Imagine the Titanic dude. Do you remember the captain that was like, no, I'm going to be here or whatever? Imagine that dude being like first on the ship alone, just rowing away by himself with no one else on that big ass boat. Like, yeah, fucking floating away, middle finger up in the air. And he's wearing a Rey Mysterio mask while he's doing it, bro. Like, he's wearing a Rey Mysterio mask as he does it. So my question was to Margaret and to David, if you guys, how crazy does that sound to leave mid Titanic failure of your convention while everything is kind of like hurting and you're needing to like, get things on the ball or at least save it in some way to save face. And you just say, nah, dude, I want to go to fucking Jack in the Box or whatever. Like, how do you feel about this concept? Like, what drives a person to do this? Go ahead, Margaret. You go, Margaret. Margaret already knows. Look at Margaret. She has some shit to say, dude.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I mean, it's I've seen him do it before. Like at RonaCon, he took off and then he came back with his little niece, right? Because there was a few people that wanted to kick him around the parking lot, so he brought his niece. So of course they didn't want to confront him in front of the child, right? But it's just a lot of irresponsibility. It's sort of like writing a lot of checks that you were not ready to catch. You overextending yourself, right? And it's like, oh, you're the face of the convention. Okay, well, where were you when the people that were working with you are trying to put out all the fires of the event? You got overwhelmed and you left a Pizza Hut? Really? Yeah, like, I my work ethic has always been, and you see me at the events, it's like I'm the first one there and I'm the last one to leave.
Last one to leave.
Yeah. It's like, it's your job. You put your foot forward. You're the one promoting and pushing this event. This is your project. And to literally just abandon it because, oh, well, somebody else came in. And basically he let all that to his coordinator, which is the one that got the loan, by the way. I wanted to clear that up. She's the one that took the loan, the $2,500 loan. She's the one that got it from a friend of hers to the thing. And she talks about it in a podcast. So it was his coordinator who had already spent over like what, $500 pushing the little reels and stuff. So she did her job and then some, and then she actually quit on that Saturday. And then Tokyo Houston was on site also, the husband and the wife duo, and they were trying to make best of what was left of this thing. There was so many issues, of course, and people were like, oh, well, they got overwhelmed, and they're trying to get answers that they don't have from Johnny, and Johnny was like, oh, I can't do this right now. I'm overwhelmed or something. And then that's when I heard about the whole, like, he was with I believe it was his cousin that they said in the podcast at a pizza joint, drinking a beer or something. And I'm like, how do you abandon your project? And then, like, like you pass the baton to somebody else, like, oh, you handle it. But it's like, oh, but you were there getting all the clout, right? Like, oh, I'm on TV, I'm doing this, I'm promoting. It's like, so where were you when it actually mattered? Eating pizza and drinking.
Margaret,
abandoning your staff,
to fill in Trigger, how did this guy show up on TV? Because I don't think Trigger's really like, Trigger probably listening to us and being like, okay. Oh, I mean, maybe it's
so to be completely honest, I know Johnny. I know Johnny.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say well, but I've had many interactions with him.
Yeah, interactions with him.
Right. So I am not at all disillusioned with Johnny in any way, shape, or form. My wife is also, she used to volunteer for Omnicon, you know, and
her way back in the day,
yeah. So like, and dude, and Johnny's been on the scene for like a minute, right?
Yeah,
like he was always the guy who was like, dude, I'm gonna make the next Comic-Con or whatever the fuck. And like he like, I mean, hats off to the guy for striving big, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess
I don't know if he's doing no more striving.
Swinging for the fences, I guess. But even she knew, like Johnny, and he was kind of like one of those things where he was like, I'm gonna do this, and we were kind of like, okay, you know. And I mean, they brought down some fucking K-pop like band like 2 years ago or something like that.
That was year. At the Padre Island when they fucking ruined all that shit with the K-pop people.
Bombed, and you know, and then it just turned into a fucking Bandido concert, and I was like,
yeah, they were the group that was performing with the outdoor event, right?
Yeah.
Like the banda came out and they were like, yo, come out here and fucking put on cowboy hats and fuck around with us. I remember that shit. That was wild too, man. That was fucking messy.
Yeah, and I saw them just like lost, and I was just like, dude, I would be so fucking
bunch of Korean dudes lost
if I was like the event holder or the promoter or anyone associated with that with that thing. And then come to find out, he was like, I'm actually not a promoter or like anything like that. I have like nothing to do with this. All I did was just consult, and I was just like, you were fucking you were fucking bombing everybody with your fucking ads,
advertisements,
like with your ads. What do you mean you're not a fucking promoter?
Got him fucking dying. It's so fucking funny.
I mean, you know, like, and you know me, dude. I'm a pretty passive guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, you know, go for it, man. You wanna go be an ass on the internet? Go fucking right for it, man. I mean, what people do usually isn't my business. And even in the in the cosplay realm, like, you know, I kind of left that one, you know, just, you know, kind of I left that scene a while ago, and I was kind of just like, all right, man, but Jesus Christ, man, you guys keep me entertained sometimes.
That's funny. Yeah, it's so just to give you a heads up, right, Triggs? This guy came on, what was it, like Channel 5 News, Margaret? It was like one of those ones,
it
right?
was Channel 23, man. He went on Channel 23 and to advertise Lighthouse Matsuri. And I believe the coordinator and one of the I think it was a Tokyo Houston told him not. They told him not to do it because obviously for an interview you have to be prepared, clip notes, and you know, have everything, be very presentable, right? And they started talking about it, and they mentioned the term Tamu discount Rey Mysterio popped up, and I was like, I was washing dishes because I had it playing in the background. I'm like, what the hell are we talking about? And they put up a picture, and I thought it was a meme. I thought it was a Photoshop. It's like, no. Johnny went on Channel 23 in a yellow tie-dyed sweater and wearing a Rey Mysterio mask that he shoved on his face. And I was like, this guy. I'm like, wow, man. And I thought it was Photoshop. I thought it was fake. And then I'm like, no. And then they played the clip because apparently the clip is up on Channel 23's the website or something. And I was like, holy shit. And the coordinator was saying like that they had told him to not do it, right? And they're like, I think he did it out of spite. And this is not me just making up stuff. It was like they discussed it in the podcast.
With that being said, could they do anything legally for him, like with like breach of contract with anything like that? You know.
Well, I mean, they went into it because you know, Johnny Gamora is not his legal name. Like those that have dealt with him before, they know this. Like they know his actual name, myself included. Because there's been a lot of other stuff you want to even go into. But it involves threats and threatening somebody to get shanked. Like that's how it is. But no, and they brought it up and you know and stuff. So, but yeah, no, he went on there with the mask and everything, and you know, because he's prone to going to events in masks, thinking that no one's going to recognize him. But it doesn't really work.
If you've ever heard his voice and the moment he speaks, You're like,
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, that and like his physique, because he used to be like really thin, right? I
No,
was
but he's
telling the
always had that
guys
like,
before we went online.
yeah, but he's always had this hunched
Yeah,
posture.
yeah, yeah. Well, I remember he went to PokeFest the third year and he wore a mankind mask, but he wore like the regular getup that he normally wore. And we're like, dude, like that's Johnny. And they're like, and he was trying to hide. And I'm like, you did a really bad job then. Like we pinned you like when you walked in, and he's prone to wearing masks. And also it's because I think it's also because he owes a lot of people money and they want to kick him down the street, but they haven't done it yet. But um, yeah.
Well, I hope they know they're probably never seeing that money again.
Man, that's so wild. I'm still tripping
Yeah.
balls on how weird this is, man. So yeah, like it to me, it's just probably one of the craziest things that because you don't get fucking weirdos like that in the valley. Like, when was the last time you ever saw someone show up on the news to help promote like in a fucking weird ass like mask to hide their identities, and him not even be like a well known person other than in the community itself.
You know who
Like-
this reminds me of?
Dude, please tell me.
For the people who watch way too much TV, How I Met Your Mother, Dr. X, when Ted Mosby, like they're like, I'm Dr. X, and they're like, bro, everyone knows it's you. Like we've always known it was you. No, Dr. X's identity is so hidden, blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever, dude. We know it's you, Ted.
We know it's you, Johnny. So where do you think it goes from here? Like, I mean, it's got to be a pretty big hit to him, his company, his reputation, for now an outside source to be like, it's not just Valley people that he can kind of be like, nah, those are my haters or whatever the fuck. Like, now it's like an outside big city people who work with other convention scenes and talk about it, like calling him out for like a bunch of the debauchery that he brings into the community. Where do you think it goes for here for this guy? Do you think he puts on 2 Rey Mysterio masks? Johnny, don't take my idea. Fucking dumbass. It's gonna put on 2 Rey Mysterio masks, one forward and then the last one backwards, dude.
I know the coordinator said that she let a lot of people. I remember, David. I don't know if you got to that part. She said that she told a lot of people in the industry and people that run events and coordinators and guest coordinators or whatever about him. And she's like, essentially, she burned those bridges for him and stuff. So they're not going to want to work with him, even if his name pops up. I had heard a long time ago because, as you mentioned, I have the lore. Because it's been a couple of years now, right? I did hear that he was originally in Houston and did something like similar to this up there, and then he had to leave, and then he came down here, and this is around like 2010 when around BonsaiCon started and stuff, right? And he was actually a volunteer checking like badges for the anime room, like that, and like that's how he got his foot in the door and stuff, and whatnot. But then we started having trouble with him and stuff, and staff was telling us that he was kind of harassing some people, or and then we found out later we were running into all these little issues, and it was like, well, who's the one spreading this misinformation? Turns out it was him. So he would paint himself as like the good guy, but he was sabotaging the project so he could step in, like let's say make at the time I worked for BonsaiCon, so like make me or Joshua like the bad guys or something. And then so he could come in and like, oh, Johnny helped us out. He's a good guy, Or look at me, I was helping. I wasn't doing anything bad. And it's like, you were the one starting all this shit, I'm like, what's that dude from the Lord of the Rings, Brad Dorff's character, the one that was like working with Sauron and stuff? Talking to the king and stuff, Rohan. You know which one?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Wormwood or something.
Rohan.
Yeah, like that. Like
Wormwood,
he was like, "Oh no, I'm here for this project. I love this project. I'm this and that." And I'm pretty sure he's gonna see this and he's gonna be all like, "Oh, fuck,"
Alexander in the fucking
he's gonna
chat
be talking shit. Like,
he knows what's up about the Lighthouse Missouri stuff.
Yeah, but no, I have been, and it's just like, man, this guy never learns. But it's like he wants to do stuff. I remember he would do all these ideas. like he wanted to do something similar to South by Southwest down here, which
Okay.
obviously it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work. It's a lot of money and stuff. But he basically wanted to do it, starting with BonsaiCon, like to get that going, right? And I could tell you stories. And I think aside from the ex-chairman, I have sacrificed a lot for BonsaiCon when I worked for them, right?
Mhm.
Like I even got sick from like stress because of it and stuff. And then my staff also that stayed with me and still work with me now, right? But he wanted to do all these ideas, but with like no money, no backing and stuff. And they were not bad ideas, but it's like we didn't have the money. We were over here trying to sell $35 tickets to an event just to get it going, right? Because there was no event aside from ShimaCon back in the day, and that was the very first convention that happened on the island. And then BonsaiCon happened, and then me and Ramsey, our events started up around the same time.
Mhm.
So Kaboom started there and stuff. So we all got our start at the same time. But it was always like, oh, we could do this and this, and bring the culture to the valley, and But when things got tough, a whole different story came up, right?
Yeah.
And then of course getting shut down. I mean, the rumors started, and the all this stuff would happen, and the whole split. We fired him from BonsaiCon, and that's where the whole feud started and stuff. But it's been over 10 years and stuff, and the same stuff that he does with his own little event. He always fucks over the vendors, and something happens, and it's like because he wanted to overextend and do these big things, but and it's cutting corners. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cutting corners just to put on this grand show and stuff, and then it blows up because it wasn't well planned or something. And then people get hurt because of it, mainly the vendors, and that's what triggers me and motivates me to keep speaking out about it. Because it's like the vendors that come in, it's like their families, their friends, we're vendors themselves, and he's just doing these things that are left and right, or he's like, oh no, they're just a bunch of haters, and it's like, dude, I don't do this for fun. I say the facts because it happened. It's happened to other people, but so much time happens, or like they go underground for like a little bit, and new vendors come in and they don't know the story,
I don't
so
know.
they're like, yeah, let's take a shot, or
Yeah.
let's give them the benefit of a doubt, right? And then they get screwed over, and I'm like, I actually got a few messages that are like, we should have taken your advice, and I was like, it's a little late now, right? But
let me ask. 'Cause
anyway,
I don't want to make it just seem like we're out here starting the first ever Johnny Zamora relief AAA meeting or whatever. I want to make sure people don't think we're just hating to hate.
Hate.
What right? Sergey's like, yeah, good point. Because it's like over time, this guy has just screwed over a lot of people, right? And from what we've heard and what we know, like Johnny's a pretty, milk toast kind of guy. He's pretty chill, pretty vanilla. Like he's not an aggressive dude. He has the idea to want to be successful, be an entrepreneur, be different. He has a brand that he likes to push about himself. He wants to be up there and out there. We get it, because in some way, all of us as entrepreneurs want the same thing for each other, and we all want the same things for ourselves. What do you all think? And I'll let you guys take a shot at this because it's very important for all of us, right? What do you think he needs to do to change his approach going forward past this? Because like right now, like he's pretty much just like he's pretty much stepped on right now in a lot of the community, right? Like he's like a stepping stone to everybody. Everybody's looking at him. This podcast now from Houston down to here, people are gonna find out who he is and what he is.
What was his podcast's name, if you don't mind me asking?
What was the podcast name, David? David got to see the full thing. Margaret, do you remember?
Margaret sent me the link, bro.
It was like Geeks for something.
It's Geeks 5 Ever.
Yeah, Geek Forever, no?
Let me see. I'm about to click on
it. No, it's Geeks 5.
Geek 5
Those are 5 people.
Geeks 5 Ever, the number 5.
Geeks 5 Ever.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hour long podcast, and the majority is them like bashing the shit out of the event trigger.
Bro, facts, bro.
It's fucking 3 hours long. The podcast is longer than the success of his convention.
Jesus Christ, that's so
good.
You know what I mean?
This is IckyCon that they're talking about?
Well, they're the guys that run like Tokyo, Houston. They run some stuff up there. They help run some events out there and stuff like that. Geeks 5 ever.
Yeah, I think they were like they were supposed to be
Oh,
a
Lighthouse Missouri.
guest
Yes.
for
Yeah, that
the
was
show.
South Missouri in Harlingen or in South Padre Island or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
Elena.
Yeah.
I know someone who went to it, right? And she was just like, "Oh yeah, no, the event was trash." And I was just like, I have yet to see a single like
Good event.
island like convention at the island in the past, I don't know, 15 years that was ever successful or fun. And so she was just like, I don't know what I was expecting, but my friend was like, I want to go to the beach, and I was like, it was cold as fuck that day, right? And she was just like, yeah, it was horrible. It was like I had like the worst time. She was like, but I got drunk, so I mean, I guess it was okay. That was like her highlight, was the fact that she drank the entire time.
Isai says, I believe at this point of no return, he has tried to recruit us, Dragon Bros, saying his sob story of it. It was a mistake and we're fixing it. This is just a pattern on taking money from people. Margaret, what do you think? Is that a pretty on the spot kind of saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's volunteers that helped him with his first event. I believe it was RoniCon that were volunteers for BonsaiCon.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he helped them out a lot. And then I felt so bad for them. And I got called that day. I remember they were like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, there's like shit hit the fan over here." And they were like, "My friend Alexis Lopez, he paid for the room rental at the Palm Air, which no longer exists anymore. But that's where it happened." So I went to help Alexis because I was like, "Hey, dude, I got your back." And they were like, the people were like, "Well, where's the passes? Where's this? Where's that?" And like the volunteers were like, "We don't know. We don't have the info." They didn't even have paper to write the schedule and stuff. He literally left his staff to the wolves. And that's the thing that pissed me off the most. That and the all the vendors and stuff. Because he hightailed it. It's too emotional. You know, he thought he could do it, and he left his people he threw them under the bus. You know, and
Well, that was like, what was that other dude that was working with him? Trevino. What was that dude's name?
Joshua.
Okay,
Joshua.
That dude.
Yeah, Joshua and Andres or something like that.
Yeah, Josh Trevino, right?
Yeah, and then Andres.
That's the dude that they
because I know he threw them under the bus, like publicly threw them under the bus. Yeah. For what was it, the last BonsaiCon?
Yeah, that was BonsaiCon. They fucking destroyed Josh, dude.
Yeah,
they fucked that dude so bad.
Oh yeah, dude, like that. Josh is totally done in the cosplay world. They're like in the con world, like 100%.
And the thing is like we know Josh. You know, he's been around the game for a minute too. Like he does his own thing. I know Margaret and him have had their disagreements and stuff like that. But you could see where like Josh might almost be like that weird nerdy dude in all the war movies that just gets killed because he's hanging around with the wrong fuckers. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like that one.
Yeah,
dude
he's the John Leguizamo character in Gamer.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. He's that one dude that's cannon fodder because he was just like, I just want to be cool, guys. Like, I just want to be cool. And you kind of feel bad for the dude almost, but like, I don't know, maybe not. But I don't know. These guys have a tendency of like throwing that one motherfucking person under the bus really bad.
Well, I know Johnny did it like hard, bro. He was like, I'm never working with Josh again. Super unprofessional. Left the con. Blah,
he
blah,
fucked that
blah.
dude up, right?
Oh yeah, dude. He
fucked that dude up bad,
Josh,
man.
and I was just like,
and the only thing that
I was like, bro, didn't you have like a huge hand in this con? Like, you may not be an owner of it, but like, aren't you?
Yeah,
like,
it was a group effort, right?
I was like, aren't you like their single promoter? Like 100%, like all of their ads went through you. You had final say on all promotion,
everything
sort of shit.
Like, I don't know. The only thing that I kind of would like, one of like the nearest things that kind of like fucked me up that I was real pissed off about what they did was at BonsaiCon. They promised people all this shit about Tesla and the fireworks and the anime. Like they were going to show anime at a hotel and they didn't even do that because they didn't even ask the hotel. But it was the stage thing that they did for the people that were supposed to be performing. I remember that they were supposed to do like a burlesque show and they didn't even have like any of like the audio set up. They didn't have the stage set up. Like, how do you do that? Like, that's the main performance stage for any event. Like, how do you not have that set up as your priority? You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. I get the fireworks because they're doing like Bike Fest and they're going to have fireworks out of Louis anyways. And you can just be like, yo, we could say that that's a part of our shit, right? And fucking cheat it or whatever. But like telling people like, yo, please, like the K-pop shit that Trigger was talking about, like, please bring your performances. We're going to have you guys front and center on stage. It's going to be great. They show up and it's like, nah, bro, we don't even have water for you guys, dude. Like, fuck y'all. Like, how do you do it? Like, how do you do it? Like, how do you fucking do it? This guy's like, I don't know. But Margaret, like, where do you think this guy goes from here? What do you think he should do?
Stop lying. Pay people back.
Get fucked.
That's one. You know, to start.
Stay in your
Like,
lane.
Get
Stay in your
fucked.
lane.
I mean, like, just touching really quickly because I know we discussed it right now, but Josh knows now, like, who the actual bad people were, right? But he learned the hard way.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. If Johnny, obviously, it's not gonna happen because I was friends with Johnny at one point in time. I worked with him also, but this guy, it's always about, you know, Alex. I was like, yeah, exactly.
Alexander, good cosplayer, one of our homies, man, was actually the guy that they approached to do the commentary for the show, like to be the voice guy on the man on the what is it? What do they call it? The voice of the guy
MC,
kind of
bro.
deal.
MC.
Yeah,
The MC,
right?
man.
Yeah, so they had him there,
MC.
you know, and I remember we were talking to him about it too, and he was kind of like letting us know like that it was very slippery, man. It was super slippery, and when it came to push came to shove and things started going downhill, how a lot of the guys that were supposed to be in charge kind of like flaked and took off and just kind of like almost like they just hid from everybody. But like I wonder like how many re-signings did he do for vendors? Like how many people keep signing up for these stupid shits? Like how many? Like you can only do so much before you're just like, no, I'm not gonna work with you, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's wild.
You know, I think he's
there was
good for the
people
community,
that
bro.
Let's get David. David, what was that, Dave? Yeah,
I
'cause I haven't heard from David yet.
I think he's good for the community, bro, because it makes you realize the value that other organizers and other events have. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, even though he's, you know, fucking everybody over and stuff, you kind of are able to dictate, like, okay, if he's doing this and he's associated with these people, these are the people I want to separate myself from, you know?
Yeah.
Because in the very beginning, everybody wants to hustle,
Mhm.
bro. You know, and the thing
So you
with
think
him,
he's a necessary evil?
he's a necessary evil, bro, because like he burned bridges so bad in the valley that he reached out to Houston, bro. Like, imagine being so bad, having such a bad rep. You literally had to coordinate with someone outside of the valley to try to do something in the valley. Fuck that up too.
Do my
And
favorite.
then-
A size comment is so fucking funny. He was like, I was friends with that dude for like 30 minutes until he pissed me off. That's fucking funny. I don't know why that's fucking funny. So you really think that it's good to have like a professional last place guy?
I think so, bro. Like,
Okay.
I think it brings value and it wakes up people because, you know, you have those new vendors that, you know, vendors are going to get, you know, I don't want to say fucked over eventually, but you're going to do an event that doesn't make money one time, right? Whether you come out flat, you come out negative, but, you know, you really start valuing people like Margaret, like Ramsey, like other people doing markets. Like, you realize, like, okay, like these people are actually putting their energy, their time, and so forth into it. How can I do it? You know, like Armando's events, bro, you know, doing United, I do that one all the time because it's a community event. It helps me get out there, but you can just see the grind that goes into it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, bro. Like, for me, it's more about investing in the person, not so much the event. You know, no one's going to want to invest into Johnny and going forward. You know, I could give X amount of money donations to a certain person and I would feel comfortable knowing I'm going to make it back or I made a good investment, you know? So I think he's a good evil to have, to be honest. I mean, I know it sounds kind of shitty, right? But it's good to know that that's the person you don't want to be with.
No, that's a good point. That's actually a really, really good point. I never even thought about it that way, where it's like good to have that dude that dies first in all the movies and stuff because it gives you that opportunity to run more. Like, yeah, I see that. I like that. I like that a lot.
Sounds real shitty.
What a comparison.
It sounds real shitty, but I mean, that's the way I look at it from the business standpoint, from the vendor standpoint.
Yeah, because you know, you could always be that dude that's like, yeah, well, like I tried to do an event, it didn't go that bad, but I'm not Johnny Zamora. You know what I mean? Like,
100%. All day, bro.
Yeah, and people would be like, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, people died at my event. I mean, I'm not Johnny, bro.
Fucking Fire Fest, and then Johnny right after.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
his
I
name,
mean,
dude. Not
I'm
even his event.
basically, I'm basically the RGB Firefest, but I mean, I'm not
That's
Johnny.
fucking
Though,
funny.
so.
I had like 2 dudes die, dude, like at my event, but like, man, Johnny Zamora, right? Oh yeah, dude, fuck that. That's wild, bro. That's fucking toxic.
That's not funny.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, so like I really don't know where this guy's gonna go from here. Look, like I said, I don't think we're really trying to hate on this dude, but there comes a certain time where you got to hold people accountable. Like you got to hold this guy accountable for how many people he's fucked over. There's people's like livelihoods and money and things that are being put on the line. Like first, I always look at it like this: like people that do vendoring and stuff like that. It's before the brick and mortar in their lives if they want to start a business. So like for them to go out there and put like, you know, the $50 to $300 for a table down, and then only for it to be fucked over by this random dude that likes to wear fucking wrestling masks at Pizza Hut, like, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't want your fucking $300 to go to this guy's like debauchery, like I said earlier, like, you know what I mean? Like I just don't know what pushes him to do these kind of things. Do you think with the way that Lighthouse, Missouri was handled, that we as a community of cosplayers and convention runners and vendors deserve an apology video from Johnny without the Rey Mysterio mask? Like, or do you think like if he comes out and does it with the mask, you think it kind of like takes away from it? Or do you think it's like, hey, Johnny, look, like if you're going to do look, I'm going to give you a pointer right now, dude. If you're going to do an apology video, leave the mask off, dude. Like, I can leave the mask off, please, dude.
Has he done that?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if he's done, man. He's had a pretty good, like, he's not over here laughing at a dead body in a forest in Japan done, but like he's close, dude. Like Triggs knows he is close, bro. Lighthouse shit Surrey, dude. I like that name. Let's go, baby.
Lighthouse.
Do you think we deserve a full apology mask without the mask, please? Thank you, Vanny. Thank you, Vanny. Do you think that helps him out, Margaret? Like if he comes out and goes, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry. I know I messed up." What do you think? What do you think he needs?
I you know, like, because he owes like a lot of people from even back in the day, like a lot. An apology is not going to do it. Like he has a lot to answer for. That's why I said there's people like I think that's why he wears the mask, because there's people that he did stuff to and he owes money to, and they've been looking for him for a while. So yeah, and like a mere apology is not going to do it. Like because he's always wanted to be like successful or respected, right? Like do a good event and stuff, right? But the way he does things about it, where he overextends and he cuts corners and stuff, and then the vendors end up getting paid, like, you know, affected by it. Like that just, it's like a vicious cycle. It just keeps going and stuff. So, I mean, he would have to start by apologizing legitimately by paying everybody back, like everybody he's ever screwed up, and then he can't do it because who knows how much money that is now, you know? Like it's a lot of stuff. I know I got messages from one friend that was like hitting him up for like the refund. Like, and she sent the whole professional thing and everything, and he was not picking up at all. And this is like one of many, you know. So yeah, no, he's probably laying low right now because once again he is effectively on the run because he made himself the face of the event. And even that post from Tokyo Houston, any refunds or any grievances, please talk to this guy. You know.
Yeah, and I was going to say, now, like, is there like any legal action that any of these people can take that they can try and recoup that money? Because I mean, now we're like basically talking about, you know, civil suits, right? You know, this is like 100% a lawsuit, or like an actual like suit like against him, you know. And like it's sounding like breach of contracts, amongst
Hmm.
multitude of other things, outside of this, but like on a legal standpoint, you know, what do you think is like perfect world? Like, what do you see happening?
Well, they would have to find him first. That's first. And then, like I said, his name Johnny Zamora is not his actual name.
That's
So they'd have to get his information and stuff. Yeah, and then go from there. But they literally have to find him because I know he's probably laying low.
Where's Dog, man?
And he's
Let's
been
get Dog
known.
the Bounty Hunter.
He's known to,
Damn, Dwayne
go
Chapman.
into crash on people's houses, stuff like that. Like couches and whatnot, just to kind of like avoid everything. Although I did get some information recently where it's like where he's been hanging out, and I'm like, well, that'll be for somebody else is looking for him, not me.
Tell me it's like an adult strip club or something. That'd be so great, dude. That would be so fucking fantastic. I don't know. There's just something about it that's so crazy. Like this deserves its own Netflix series or like,
Bro, this is some straight like
a book, right?
It's some
this is
wild.
some straight
I think
Amazon
honestly,
Prime documentary shit.
like like when I saw the documentary in the Fire Festival, I was like, this reminds me a lot of like the shit that happened, like for real. I was like, oh man, like,
Dude,
like for real. I was like, man,
ah, damn, bro.
very familiar.
Dude, you know that
This
he's
far
like
Johnny,
no
dude.
shit. They're having another Fire Festival, and
Johnny's
the same guy is running it.
man, dude.
Yeah, dude. Billy is running another Fire Festival.
God damn.
Not even kidding. I'm not even. They even have a website. Not even kidding.
Johnny, if you're out there and you're listening to this shit,
Fuck.
resume, bitch. Send your shit to him, dude. You are a perfect candidate, dude, for Firefest #2, bro. Perfect fucking candidate, man. It should almost be like the Hunger Games or like what's that fucking Squid Game show with all these guys running that shit. They'll put you on an island and be like, promise you all this shit. And you show up, there's no tents, no toilet paper. It's fucking what is it? Lord of the Flies shit all over again, dude. It's fucking fantastic, dude. So earlier, Victoria Cobos said, even if he tries a clean slate for himself, there's too much that he's done that will take years for him to make up for all the wrongdoing that he's done. So here's my thing. What if we do like a public like whipping or something, dude? Do you think this dude like just Pokey Fest coming up, put a fucking the Nurse Joy strap thing and fucking whip him in the back and have him like a piñata. Oh, what if we make a Johnny Zamora piñata, dude? Like just Johnny Zamora piñata. Like, come on, man. It's wild. Look, it's like I said before, like I don't have hate for this dude. I feel bad for him. Like I feel bad for like people enabling this type of like these type of activities in his life. Like it's like the Boondocks cartoon when they're talking about R. Kelly. Like, look, we all know the guy likes conventions, but like, take his phone away. Fucking cancel his Adobe advertisement thing. Like, fucking take his Wacom tablet. Like, stop fucking hiring this dude. Like, I don't know why people keep working with this guy. I really don't. You would assume that everybody already knows this guy's reputation by now.
Yep.
Well, the thing with him is that he talks a lot. And a lot in detail. And then he'll tell you the stories that I mentioned earlier, like the sob story, right? And then even the coordinator said, I believed him at the time. Right? And she said, I believed him at the time, and that's why I signed on for the project. So that's how he gets people to believe him, right? And then until it's too late, and then obviously like the organization's not there and it blows up. But it's just like he talks to people or he'll over talk to people.
Johnny for mayor, dude. Well, he's got to run for like Mercedes or
I'm like, man.
One of the bad cities, dude. Then he'll be all right there. But yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. So Margaret or David or Margaret, do you guys have any like final words that you would like to put on this, or anything that you would like to touch base on that you think was important from the podcast that you had seen from the Geeks 5 Ever podcast that they posted, guys. And what we're gonna do is while they're doing their final words, I'm gonna put up the post or the link, so you guys can check out later for the Geeks Forever podcast and stuff. I'll put that up in a little bit for you guys. So when you guys are done, you guys can go check it out and stuff. But Margaret and David, do you want to go first? Because Margaret's probably gonna have like a pretty good, she's gonna give a soliloquy, bro. She's gonna drop some knowledge, dude. But David, being that you're fresh to the scene, you're knowing about this more. You're a localized vendor, a pretty successful vendor. You're on your own brick and mortar now, back again. Like, how do you feel about all of this, like coming to fruition, on how this has been a long going thing? Yeah, man. Without the support of Tesla.
What's it called? Honestly, and it's kind of to go more.
Yeah, dude. How do you burn that bridge, man?
Yeah, fucking Elon and everything. But what's it called? It just comes with communicating with the community, bro. I was lucky enough to meet you, Chris, Margaret, Ramsey, and so forth, right? And putting yourself around the right people. There's other vendors like Johnny, Adani, Saeed, people that may have crossed paths with him or some type of an event. But it's like what I said earlier. I think it really gives you the value of other vendors and of course other organizers like Margaret, Ramsey, Armando, different vendors that are putting together events. It gives more like weight to what they do and what they want to strive to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
People like Johnny, they're going to be around, and we just got to be mindful of the Johnnies around us. But the biggest takeaway from the podcast is like, imagine pissing off someone so much they're going to spend 3 hours talking about you, like not even in a good way.
Dedicate literally an entire podcast to your show.
Yeah, and I remember telling Margaret, I told Margaret, there was some in between reading, right? But I just wanted to be informed. That's kind of what I told Margaret. And the wording behind that is, what, I may never meet this guy because I never met him. I know of him, but the more information I have about what's going on, it just makes me feel safer as a vendor, especially if I have somebody who doesn't know and like, hey, I'm gonna do this event here with this person. I may be like, hey man, look, I'm not here to talk shit. I'm just here to talk facts. If I had to put them against this person or this organizer, definitely let's go ahead and second guess that decision. But hey, at the end of the day, you're a business person. You make your own decisions. But there's certain events I would do. If I had vendors call me and say like, hey, would you do this event? I said, hey, you know what? Personally, I want it. Don't let my opinion affect you. My reasons is because of this, of what I see, and that's it. Don't go and say, well, David said this and that, because I guarantee you, if Margaret were to call me or someone call me and say, hey, I heard you said this, I would say, this is what I said verbatim. This is it. I didn't say like, fuck these people, this and that. Because of this event, and this person's characteristics is why I'm not doing X, Y, or Z. You know, and I feel like I have a pretty good reputation of being transparent. People can call me out any day of the week, and I'll just say what it is. But definitely,
because I know bluff was good.
Yeah, no shit, right?
We could. No, I mean, I think it's just important to be that way. It's very important. I mean, it's like I said, when you're in the position between a business, like a building you're running and paying rent and doing all this stuff, or just doing vendors, like you're putting your own personal money to it, and that could be how you be feeding your families, or how you be paying your light bill, or how you be doing something. And if someone out there isn't taking their event serious enough that wants to support the vendors that they're bringing in, and they're doing it just for clout or chasing their own thing or whatever without looking out for the community, it's hurtful. It's very hurtful. It's very self-sabotaging, I guess you could say. So like, when it comes to like the way I've seen like Margaret holds her events with her and Michael Betancourt, and the little lady that you're always doing your events with, Margaret, what's her name? Ruth, yeah, the little nice lady. Like, I always see you guys are out there asking the vendors how you feel, let us know what we can do. Like, even by fact, because as a matter of fact, I remember you earlier when you were talking about someone had made a post about you. I remember what you were mentioning. I remember I jumped in because I thought that was very unfair to you, because I know the work you put in, and him and I, we talked, and he's a pretty good guy. He does his own thing. He's a vendor also. He's out there in the community. But to hear that you took the critique and have said, you know what, well, I'm going to take that. I'm going to use that to help me build a better event for my next event. that is exactly what's important as a person running an event, listening to the critique, and then going from there to build a better event. I think that's super important. That shows, one, that with every complaint you listen. Two, you care about your representation to the community. And three, you care about providing the best possible thing that you can get out there for everybody. I think that's amazing. I thought that was super dope that you said that. And we didn't have to mention anything. You just said it outside. So like now that person, when they hear, oh, well, are you going to go to the next, events or whatever that Margaret's doing? And he's like, no, I don't know if she's going to do this. And they say, no, she changed it. She's going to do it now. And they're going to be like, oh, really? Yeah, man, I'm totally down to go check it out. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's very admirable, man. I think that's super admirable. Now, Margaret, it's your turn. I know you're going to say some things. you're going to say some things.
Right.
And you know what? Like, you know what? Get fucking P. Diddy down and dirty with this shit. Like, put the baby oil on. Like, I want you just to let it all hang out because, like, it's super important. I think if they're out there hiding in the shadows with Rey Mysterio glasses on or whatever the fuck, like, this dude needs to listen on how he needs to approach the next step because he is below down in the dumps. He's below down in where he needs to be in the community. He needs the help. So, Margaret, please kill him. Kill.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, look. There's a big difference between you knowing how to do stuff wrong and and avoiding it, and then knowing that it's wrong and still doing it because you don't give a shit.
Oh, good.
I think it's that just to make the ends, the ends justify the means situation, right? I mean, it's been years, man. It's been since 2010, since little things here and there, and it always seems that I get put or I hear about it where it's like, oh, well, this happened, right? And I end up facing off, and I have a file of all the little incidents in case I need to refer back to it. Because there's been a lot. There's been a lot of things. Like I said, there's a lot of lore and a lot of stuff that's happened. Some people don't even know the thing, and I sit. If you ever get a chance to sit down and have a soda with me and stuff, and it's like, oh, you want to talk about drama? And it's like, oh, settle in.
Johnny's
There's
a
been a lot of stuff.
dude.
I've been fortunate enough to be asked to be in part of a lot of shows and stuff. And I know there's some people that don't like me. They're probably watching the podcast right now. So to them, I say, what's up? We'll see you later. Also, the thing is that I want to say this very clearly. Johnny might have been the main one running the show, but it was a group effort. You get me? There's other people that came in and helped him out too. And right now, what they did to Josh, where they ate Josh alive, they're washing their hands of it, right? Now Johnny is experiencing that business karma, right?
Yep.
Because now it's like Johnny's the one that's getting all the heat.
Yep.
But it's like, where were those people that were helping him, right? Now it's like, oh no, I'm not the owner, or I didn't help him, or whatever, right?
Yep.
But out of some of the craziest stuff that I've ever heard from events, when I heard in the podcast that some of the volunteers or some of the helpers ate the food from the green room for the guests, and the guests were given basically cold food and scraps. Like, how do you do that? Like, you're supposed to take care of your guests, and how are you going to show professional and stuff? But and then the whole thing with oh, Friday wasn't even rented, then therefore you have to set up from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's just ludicrous to me. I think it's the thing that triggered me the most. And vendors finding out that the numbers were not there, like everybody else was at other events, or they hadn't heard about it. Also, I think they started advertising in December. I could be wrong, right? But that's when I saw it, December, for your event in January. Like, how does that work? But it's a lot of stuff. You can make it look pretty. You can get really nice designs and stuff, and but all these issues will still come up. And right now, I'm getting messages as I'm here on the live, and people are like, "Hey, I see you on the live. You're talking about drama," and it's like, "Yeah, I'll be with you in a moment, guys. Like, yes, go ahead and tune in and stuff." But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that, because we're out of the circle or something, you don't see it, or unless you're a vendor, you don't see it, right? Like, I had a vendor friend that didn't even know this stuff was happening. She's like, "Well, there was they heard that some of the guests were not happy." but they didn't know the extent. So I was like, oh, you dodged a bullet. Like, you got scot free. You did really good. I'm like, but other were not so lucky around you. I'm like, the fact that he keeps trying to compete with like other events, like established events, like Ramsey's event. Who does that shit? I know I've been accused of like, hey, you set up your event like same day, and I'm like, but mine's a community event, like way the hell out there, not even having guests or nothing. Like I'm small fry compared to yours, but like who does that? And it's basically it's like because mine is bigger than yours, like that sort of thing. Like they want to be like, no, we're more professional. We're the what was it? How did they phrase it one time? We're the convention that the valley deserves, or something like that, right? And it's like if that was the case, then you should be listening to critique and helping, not maybe cutting corners and hurting the vendors of the valley. It's like how the fact that they had to go to Houston and advertise over there, that says a lot. That means that they burn bridges here,
That's a
right?
good point.
And
That's
it's
a really
like,
good
yeah. So I know a lot of vendors, like some of them were from the Houston area, and that's why they're talking about it. That's why they get a 3-hour podcast. But it's like you want to do a good event, but you're doing the same stuff from back in the day, thinking you're going to get away with it. And I don't know, man. Business karma's a deal. It's a real thing. It comes for you when you least expect it. And nowadays, it seems that this year, people that are doing bad stuff, it seems like they're getting called out. And I think this year, we're going to see a lot more of that.
It's year,
So, I mean, it already started. January just ended with a bomb,
It's the year y'all fuckers better look out. We're going to be calling you out. No, yeah. But at the same time, like I didn't even realize that most of the vendors were from out of town because of how many people he fucked over down here that people just probably don't want to work with him anymore. That's
or they were being like they're trying to give him the benefit of a doubt, right? Or they were approached by one of the team members and like they did it as a favor, like yeah, we'll give it a shot, right? But obviously, like people are not blind. If there's an issue, there's a problem, and it's like, where's the guy in charge or the person in charge? They're not even here. The coordinator quit the same day on Saturday, I believe. He said on the thing, because she saw so many red flags, she quit the event, and like that was it. Like that should tell you right there, like how bad it was.
And it's crazy because I had told Margaret, I had asked Margaret if she could reach out to the podcast people to see if they wanted to jump on with us and like shoot the shit and just kind of like talk about the situation that they were in, since we're already familiar with some of the, the Johnny Zamora 40K past, you know what I mean? The Warhammer Johnny Zamora 40K, the years of lore. I wanted to reach out to these people, but in the same factor, you know what? Like I'll put it out there, like Johnny, if you're out there and you want to speak your mind and tell people like why shit has been going this way, dude, I would invite you on the show and I wouldn't try to hate on you or nothing. Like I would let you come out and try to speak your place, but I mean, we're going to hold you accountable, dude. Like if you want to come out, it would be great. And I have nothing against you, but I just think that people need to hear from you, dude. Like I really think that people need to hear from you, Johnny. And I see the numbers like of people watching us fluctuating and shit like that. And by now, like I could probably say that, some of the dudes from that event have probably come in and out just to kind of see what we're talking about. And, Margaret, David, Triggs, like I think every person deserves that opportunity to kind of speak their mind, right? I mean, even though we know that there's really probably not much he can say because some of the stuff is like unexcusable. The Pizza Hut thing is inexcusable. Like I think that's fucking horrific to do. Like in the middle of a country. Triggs knows too, dude. And that's because guys, you have to remember Triggs is way nicer way nicer than me when it comes to this shit. When it comes to being like, nah, it's cool, like just let it go or whatever. But like that's inexcusable, bro. Like that is super inexcusable. But if this guy would like some kind of like opportunity to speak his mind, I'd send him an invite, let him come in. And I would even let him come in with all of us here, or like even Margaret if she wanted to be in the room with us. Like, you know what I mean? And that's because Margaret's like, man, that guy's an idiot, man. But it's because, like, deep down inside, like I said, I don't think we really have any hate for this dude. It's just because hate takes investment. And we don't want to invest in this guy.
We just got no love for him.
Just got no love for this guy, dude. No nothing, man. So it's like one of those things like, But do you think he deserves his opportunity to be able to explain? Because I really think the apology video is. I don't think the apology video is necessary, but at least some type of explanation of some of the debauchery this guy has done within like the last several years. Like why? Like what is? Like what? Why does he do the things he does? Because it almost gets worse every time. There's no way that you were like that. We woke up Saturday and we're like, "Yo, did you hear about Lighthouse Matsuri?" And we were just like, "Bro, it's Johnny. He probably just messed it up." And be like, "No, dude. He literally left the entire convention to have a beer at Pizza Hut with his cousin because he didn't want to deal with the entire convention." And you're like, "What? Like, why the fuck would he do that? Like, who does that?" Like, it just gets weirder and weirder every fucking event. Like, weirder and weirder the things he does. But like, yeah, like I said, man, like, do you think it would be good for him to get out and speak? You think it's important for him? What do you think, Margaret? Or David? What do you think, Dave?
Honestly, bro, I mean, if you get him on the episode, I'm in, bro. I don't give a fuck when, where, or what. But I definitely want to be in that.
And what, motherfucker?
Even if I'm in the green room, bro, I'm just going to be listening and typing on the PC on the private chat. But I mean, it'd be nice, bro, just to get some clarification. I mean, if your reputation's a con man, and you know, a spade's a spade at the end of the day, right? So,
yep.
I mean, there's two sides.
In the words of Brian himself, dude,
my boy, spade's a spade.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade.
Triggs, what do you think? I'm gonna let Margaret go last because Margaret always has she has a lot to say.
So I'm not gonna say that like, oh, I've got like no skin in this or anything like that, or I've got like no real investment on this. But like at the end of the day, accountability is like a huge thing. And that's one of those things where I know that in most people's own way that they have done what they can do, like to not just vilify this guy, but to try and bar him from running cons down here. I think there should have been a little bit more effort put into that. But I understand that for a lot of people, this is just a hobby, right? This isn't their 9 to 5. This is not their career, in doing this. Like everyone has a day job outside of the con. And so to waste that or to put forth that kind of effort for this, sometimes just doesn't pay out those dividends. But in hearing everything that's gone on and knowing what I know, even outside of the whole
Lighthouse, right?
Lighthouse Matsuri, and like it's one of those where it's kind of like now you kind of need to start just like, I don't know, like fucking bring the council together and just be like, okay, guys, can we like officially fucking say no more Johnny in here? Like,
yeah.
If, like
there has to be something. There's something missing.
Yeah, and I get it, right? There's only so much that you can do. Like, if he fucking has a convention at a goddamn taco stand or something like that, you can't just call the taco stand and be like, "Hey, man, I wouldn't work with that guy. He's a piece of shit." Like unless you're like fucking tracking this guy the whole time. Like, I get it. There's literally only so much that you can do. But I think collectively, I think it's about that time where it's kind of like, all right, guys, no more Johnny, no more, we're done. And man, he's burnt every bridge there is to burn.
It's weird, right? It's awkward to go that far. Like, it's really weird. Like, I feel like you're absolutely correct. Like, there needs to be like one of us posing as a vendor that wants to meet up and we do like a Chris Hansen thing, right? Like where we just like trap his ass and be like, Margaret comes in a 2-piece suit and he's like, "Hi, welcome, Johnny. Can you please have a seat right here?" And Johnny's like, "Nah, I promise I wasn't here to meet up with a vendor for a $300 table. I promise," or whatever. I just brought pizza.
No, dude. They actually wanted to. I was actually gonna give them money.
To catch a con predator. Yeah. Oh, that would be the fucking best, dude.
Yeah, some
sign that fucking show, dude. To catch a con predator, that'd be dope.
Fuck, why haven't we thought of this?
He goes outside and Ramsey's there to fucking tackle his ass, dude. Like the fucking cops and shit when they're doing all the To Catch a Predator show. It would be the best. Okay, Margaret, your turn. I was like, Margaret's turn. Margaret's gonna. It's got long. she pulls out the
Trigger,
receipt,
just to tell you. I know, right? Trigger, just to tell you that has happened before, like a long time ago, and he was blacklisted from the thing. But when BonsaiCon happened, and they ate Josh alive, like the heat order was taken off, and I think we were talking about it, but you weren't in the chat yet. The heat was taken off of him, and like everybody hated Joshua and the whole BonsaiCon fiasco. So that's when I noticed that he started doing little events. Like that was his comeback. He wanted to. I think he started out with his cousin doing a little event, and then they did a car show one and stuff. And then it just, Lighthouse, the first one, and I've warned people for the last 10 years, going on 11, and a lot of people think like, oh, Margaret's just being petty. No, dude, I do this for reasons. I tell people like, hey, watch out, and they're like, oh no, it's because I call out people, whatever. But I'm like, no, I did not lie. I try not to lie because I've had situations like that where I work for other events and stuff. So I try to be very, very direct. I'm like, here's the news and here's this, and I don't overpromise anything. Right. But with the whole Johnny thing, like, man, that he's going to go underground again because a lot of people are looking for him for money because he screwed over a lot of vendors. And it kind of sucks that even though we warn people, they are adults. They did their own thing, right?
Yeah.
But it sucks that it happened again. And it's like, you do not learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. And I think that's the situation here. Now, just because it's like now a lot more people know of the fiasco of everything that happened, they're going to be very wary, right? Because it's like, you see it with you approach vendors and they're like, well, who's running the show? And they want to make sure they're okay and they're legit. And it's like, there is a paper at the convention center now, thanks to Johnny, a long time ago, where they check to see if you're credible, right? And it was because of him, right?
Oh, okay.
So that says a lot. There's a form there you have to fill out now if you're gonna run an event at the convention center, and it's because of something that Johnny did there. And people, they were like, I don't know, we'll just give him benefit of a doubt. I did the first event, it was really good. I'm gonna try it again. And I'm like, all right, dude, I warned you. Don't come back and say I didn't warn you. And then stuff like this happens where it's worse, And
See, and
I think
this
I believe
just
it was
gives
like
more credence to what Homeboy was saying. It's kind of just he's that necessary evil. Like now the convention center actually has like a way to verify somebody who's going to be doing this.
But it's kind of like at what cost, right? But it's like, yeah. But for me, it's always been a personal thing because personal issues, obviously, and then also the vendors, like my vendors and stuff. And then I'm just like, man, like this. Like, I know they want people are allowed to do events and do things and have new ideas, right? And I'm like the farthest from a gatekeeper that I can imagine, right? But like there's a whole different story when you just don't know how to do it. And when the times get tough, you have to step up as an owner or the face of the event or whatever, and you fucking run, like that says a lot right there. So it's like, well, we'll see how it goes, because usually it's like, yeah, he goes underground and then he comes back later. So it's like, oh, he's canceled now. I'm like, we'll see. People have not really taken legal action towards them and stuff, but we are in 2025. Who knows if that's going to be different now? But I know that in the We Run Conventions group, they know him very well. So, well, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you don't know how to run an event and you're going to be running when things get tough and are cutting corners and not doing a good thing, then maybe you should stop doing it.
Just have a beer,
for
dude.
sure.
Fuck it.
And
just chill out and go to pizza and have a beer, man.
Yeah, man. Fuck it, dude.
Can you imagine if that's what politicians did? Maybe they fuck up something real bad, and you just find them at fucking Pizza Hut drinking a beer, not dealing with shit.
You mean when we had our freeze and Ted Cruz went to
Right? That'd be fucking
Puerto
funny.
Rico?
That's how they. That is how they deal with the shit.
Thing. We kind of have that happen already. Okay,
The
so
press
that's
conference,
where
they're like,
Johnny got it from, dude.
Like, sir, we noticed that there was some shit going down in China, but where were you? And he's like, Pizza Hut having a beer with a Rey Mysterio mask on. And then there's like video of him, dude. Security camera video of him just them sitting there drinking a beer with a fucking wrestling mask on. They're like, well, you're not lying. Not lying. But yeah, all right, Margaret. So like we're gonna probably start baking into our nerd stuff. Not really familiar if you if you want to jump in with us or not, or if you need to head out. Do you need to head out or do you want to stay with us?
Well, I just got one more thing to add, very quickly, but yeah, I'll probably head out afterwards. But
okay,
I think like in the podcast and stuff. Obviously, I was not there. I was at the Gamers Expo, right? So I was running the thing over there. But the people that were at the event and then the people that ran the podcast had way more information and stuff and opinions, and they had facts, and you can't argue with facts. So if you would want to know more about what's going on, then the podcast is where you would get most info because they were on ground zero, so to speak. And, they explain it better than I can. I'm just paraphrasing what they said. And in my experiences, like this is what's happened with on my end. But yeah, so, right now I'm getting messages where people are like, oh, hey, we have a question about this. And I was like, okay, after this, I'll get to you. But, yeah, no, it was pretty bad. And, when usually it's this bad, the last time it was bad like this was, I think, ChibiCon at the Palmer. And everybody like, oh, you're very, very and stuff. But now I think we're going to have a repeat of that. But now that Houston people have gotten involved, I think it's a bit different ballgame. So
yeah,
let's see how it goes from there. So it should be interesting to say the least. But, vendors, please be careful. Check who the hell is running the events. Somebody trustworthy, just be careful because I know everybody's struggling right now. And the last thing is that I would hate for you guys to get screwed over on a bad show because, stuff happens. And it does. Variables happen, stuff happens, right? But how you handle it, that's how you go about it.
Yes.
But just be careful, guys.
We want everybody to be out there and be safe and be successful and not have to, lose in an unorganic way. Like if we all lose because something happens in a variable, like Margaret said, like it's, it happens when an event is just slow or, things just happen, but the care is still there. But it's different when someone is out there running an event and doesn't care about you. Like, so we're just saying, just be careful, do your, what is it? Cross the dots and hit T's or whatever. Don't bite the hand that fingers you or whatever the fuck.
Press the T's and dot the I's. Yeah.
But, yeah, something like that. But yeah, it was Shuanu just jumped in. Boys, good to see you guys. Thank you for jumping in. And there was an event that happened this past weekend, Lighthouse Mitsuri, during Ultra Gamers Expo in Harlingen or South Padre Island or somewhere else. And it was a shit show. And a group of people made a podcast about it, 3 hours in Houston, and they were part of the show and they had to try to save as much as they could. And, they called out one of the guys promoting it. And yeah, man, if you want to, we're going to we'll post the link up a little bit later in the podcast, in the comment section. So that way everybody can go check it out. But yeah. But Margaret, I want to say thank you very much for jumping in and helping us get some laughs out there out of a dark time for the community and stuff. I was hoping that people can come out here and get their a safe space in their corner to talk shit, which is pretty good in the comment section. We had a bunch of people come in, which was really nice, and everybody kind of saying the same thing that they experienced some bad shit with this guy, and we hope there's some type of justice for everybody that was put in through some shit with this guy. But Margaret, what do we got coming up? What can we get? Where can we find you? What can we get hooked up or what? Let us know, man.
All right. So Sanrio around the world is happening March 22nd. That's going to be happening in Mission. It's a little community event. We're going to do a little food festival and Sanrio event inside with vendors, artists, cosplayers as usual. And then PokeFest will be announced soon. So we're working on that for the summer. And then Mexicon, that will be happening in August 23rd and 24th in Mission. That's going to be a Mexican American cultural convention. It's going to be the first of its kind. We got a lot of excitement from people that want to see what's going to happen. We just announced our first guest which is the voice actor for Frieza in Dragon Ball Z in Spanish.
Nice.
So a lot of people are excited about that one, and it will be announcing more vendors or more guests as we go along. So
Right.
you guys want to stay tuned for that one.
Well, Margaret, as you
But,
know, here at
all
the
right,
Average
guys,
Voice
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, as you know, here at the Average Voice Podcast, we always want to help you guys out. If there's anything you guys need for the Mexicon or Sanrio or anything like that, you guys want to come on and talk with us, by all means, you guys always got a seat at the table. You guys can come in and chill out and eat and talk shit with us and help promote the show and get more, community talking points about it. That's all that helps. So anything you need, you let us know, and we hope for nothing but success. And let Michael Betancourt know we love him, and we want him to heal up and feel good. So Margaret, thank you so much for jumping in with us, man. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks for the invite, guys. I'll see you guys later, right?
Laters.
Bye.
Thank you, Margaret. All righty, boys. Margaret is on her way out. She's jumping out. Thank you so much, Margaret. Triggs, good to have you back, man. I know you were at work today, so you came in kind of late, but you jumped right into the conversation. You know the game plan. You already knew that the assignment, so you already knew what was going on. That was wild, dude. But yeah, how's everything going, Mike? Triggs, let us know what's up, man. What's up? How's everything been going?
Nothing much, man. Just working a whole bunch. That's pretty much all I do nowadays. Just work and grind.
Nice.
Oh my god, make money. You're always tired. Just chilling, man.
And adulting sucks.
Facts,
God,
bro.
dude,
Facts.
I'm straight up not having a good time. Dude.
Fuck that. But no, we're gonna jump right into it. So talking points today, of course, we had the Lighthouse Matsuri talks. I kind of felt that I wanted to save it a little bit towards the end, but we were going right into it and we were talking, and Margaret brought up a really great conversational pieces about the convention scene and her PokeFest 8 coming up, and she'll have the dates for that coming up soon and how she's been changing the game up. And I kind of felt like walking into the Lighthouse Matsuri thing was probably going to be the easiest talking point, but now we're all here. Nerd time, baby. But then again, it's like it hasn't really been popping off either for the nerd stuff. Of course, a lot of rumors, a lot of things that are coming out about the Russos and Marvel and all this other stuff. But we do know one thing, and let's talk more shit. Yes, anything. If you guys want to bring up some shit in the comment section, let me know. We'll talk up some stuff. But we'd like to also talk about our nerd news and stuff like that. But this past week, of course, 2025 has come off to a weird year already. You know what I mean? The plane crash shit that happened in Washington and then in Pittsburgh. Of course, all the shit that's going on with the political stuff. It's all over the place. People are up at arms. And I think that the political landscape is one of those big things that has kind of seeped its way. And I want to say seeped because it's very toxic in a way into every form of media that we can think of. There's nothing safe from a toxic conversation, right, of politics. And the reason why I say it in that form is because recently we had an interview with Anthony Mackie where he made a comment, and this is super important because for me and Triggs, we, like I've said before, we said it a million times, we've been reading comic books for a very, very long time, and we've put our knowledge out on the podcast for the last 4 years, Triggs, right? How long the podcast has been going?
Since 19. So yeah, we're up to
six. So
we're up to 6 years now.
It's been a fucking minute that we've been putting our information out there. No, us needing to pull up weird Google translations or fucking pages of shit that we don't know about. We're pretty stoic in this shit. Anthony Mackie was asked a question, but I kind of feel like it was a harsh question and answer, right? It was super difficult for him to answer because what do you do when you're not even a political guy? When you don't even talk about that shit normally. He was asked, do you feel that Captain America is supposed to represent America at its moment? And I wanted to talk about this, right? Because, Triggs, you know me, and David knows me too. I could somewhat be a closet politics guy because I just like the tea. I like the fucking, I like the craziness of the internet. I like that, H3 called out Hassan Piker because fuck Hassan Piker. I don't like that guy. But you know what I mean? I like the drama. The drama's great. The drama's the best shit. How do you guys feel about it? How do you guys feel about the way Anthony Mackie said that Captain America himself really does not represent America as itself, but he represents his own values? Like, how do you? Did you get to see the whole post or whatever? Did you get to kind of like?
I didn't, but I
casual?
actually had a friend of mine kind of somewhat paraphrase it for me, and it was basically like a loaded question, like what he told me. Was that it kind of sounded like a loaded question in that what you said, like, oh, do you think Captain America represents America like at whatever time?
Moment it is, right?
Yeah,
Timing.
I would have been like, well, I mean,
It's an interesting.
Captain America represents America at all times. That's sort of his shtick. You know, it's he's always Captain America, but Captain America also represents like American values, right? You know, so not necessarily the chase of the American dream, but American values. You know, listening to your parents, eating your veggies, so that sort of shit.
Yeah, it's
Right?
really weird. Yeah,
Like this man was born in fucking like 1920 something, or like 1930 something. You know, went to war. You know, during the Second World War. Like those are like classic American values, right? And that's, I'm not going to say ultimately what he believes in, but it's just the base value of good and right? You know, and how you like form your own opinion about what is good and what is right. You know, what is right, what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. You know, and holding these old American values uh to heart, because I mean it almost kind of not represents, but it almost reminds me of a quote, and I forget the name of the TV show, but like you can look it up on YouTube. I think it's like the I think it's like the Talking Room or something like that, and it's like a news show, like the newsroom, and it's basically this guy. He gets asked by like this little blonde girl, like, what makes America the greatest country in the world? And like someone's trying to answer, and he cuts him off, and he's like, America's not the greatest fucking country in the world. He's like, actually, it's an asshole country. He was like, we're like 17th in this, 15th in this. He was like, the only thing that we're like number one at is this and this. And he was like, we used to fucking stand for something. We don't stand for anything anymore. We used to, you know, greet intelligence. We didn't run from it. We weren't afraid of things, and we were, we had discussions to talk about things, not to belittle our friends about it. Like, and that's kind of like what Captain America at his core represents. Was things that are, yes, newsroom, HBO. Thank you very much, Chuno. It was I mean, it's a powerful statement, man. It's a super powerful statement. Like in many comics, you kind of see him still trying to fight for some of those values. In like some of the ways. Especially when he became Nomad, or when Dark Reign started happening. He didn't believe that things were going the way that they should. I mean, Civil War is the perfect, representation of those things that he was trying to fight for. Like what's good and what's bad, and his way of trying to bring all of those things to bear. So I mean, there's a lot to unwrap, like with that question. That's kind of like the "who are you" sort of question. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you mean? Who is Chris Bunsen? Sort of shit.
Comments. Hold on. Let me get this real quick. David, what about you, man? How do you feel about the situation?
Honestly, I'm biased, bro, because I'm like a huge Captain America fan.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're beyond like, the first movie where, Captain America is brought up with, those rooted core values. And, he was always a man misplaced in time, right? Yep. And, I think, what we hold to our core and what the generation younger than us holds to the core is different. But definitely, I don't think, being the Captain America of today sort of really matters, because, I mean, ultimately, we got people that are out there, protesting and so forth, things like that. And honestly, man, like everyone has an entitled to an opinion. and so forth. But there's a right way of doing things. There's a
Even
wrong
if
way
it's
of doing
wrong.
things. Yeah, everybody's right till you're wrong. But I mean, I don't know, bro. Like to me, like the movies, they want to put it as a representation of today's America. I mean, it'll be whatever you want it to interpret it as. You know what I mean? So if you think it's going to represent today, then that's what it's going to be. I mean, in that poster, you see like Red Hulk towering over Captain, but Hulk was a lot bigger than that, bro. You know what I mean?
Huge, bro. Yeah,
So,
huge.
I don't know what the actual representation they're trying to do with today's society, but definitely, I think I just want to have a good movie, bro. Sue me. I mean, am I asking too much? Maybe.
Yeah. So, like, if I'm not mistaken, this is pretty much the statement that he had made at the convention in Europe, right? It says, "Let it be clear about this. I am a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I would have the utmost respect for those who have served the country. Cap has a universal characteristic that people all over the world can relate to." Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think that's what he said. That wasn't the actual thing, was it? I thought it was something else. I thought he said,
But I hadn't heard it yet. I'm gonna be honest. Transparent.
I want to say he had said something different. But yeah, I'll keep looking, guys. Don't know where. Yeah, well, maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe that was. But yeah, I agree with like what Trigger said. Captain America has never really represented America as it is at the moment. If anybody represents that most is more U.S. agent, because he is a soldier. Like he does his job to be Captain America, what the government wants for him at that moment. Where Captain America was like the ideal of what we wanted a freedom to be. Like that's what I always felt Captain America. Even in what was it in Endgame, when Captain America's on the run from the Thunderbolt Ross, he's coming into the room with who was it? Who was talking to Thunderbolt? Was it fucking
It was
War Machine?
War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine's talking to he's actually in charge of like the CIA or some shit. And he sees Cap come in and he's like, "Bro, I'm gonna get you arrested," and all this other shit. And Captain America's kind of telling him, "Hey, man, we're an inevitable, man. We are what's a necessity. We are a necessity right now. Like, no matter what, we just don't agree with what you're doing and how you're handling things because we don't see eye to eye." And I think, yeah, because you's a bitch and you ain't coming for me. I'm coming for you. But he's like, "I ain't coming for nobody. But if you come for me, we got it. I got hands." And I'm
standing 10 toes. What's good, bro?
I feel like Captain, and even in the comic books, it was like that too, where there were times. It's a perfect example, dude. Trig said this earlier too. No, not Civil War. Which was the other one? Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. When Nick Fury takes him down to show him the Triskelion or whatever, the 3 ships, and Captain America's like, "The fuck is this, dude?" And he's like, "Oh, we got these ships and they're going to shoot people before they even do crimes. It's going to be great." And Captain America's like, "What in the fuck is this fucking Hydra bullshit? Like, why are you making weapons to hurt people before they even do something wrong?" In fact, that was Civil War II with Ulysses, right? When Ulysses was doing all the fucking, was calling out all the shit that was supposed to happen. And Captain America was like, "Hey, this doesn't seem like you cannot arrest people before it happens." Like he was always in that.
Actually,
Cap was doing some thangs. He was doing some thangs in the back, but that's kind of like, he stood on the business of freedom. Like he's always been this guy that's like, there is an ideal, bro. You know what Captain America reminds me of? V from V for Vendetta. Like that personality. Like he is out there doing what he needs to do to get his revenge, but boy, does he follow the rules. Like he follows all the rules that he needs to make sure he's doing things right. And I feel like that's what Captain America does. U.S. agents like, "Yo, dude, what does America want me to do right now? You want me to fucking round up some illegals? I'll do that for you. I'll beat some illegals up right now or whatever." But Captain America would kind of second guess that shit. Like I feel like that's the moment, right? He needs to really, really sit down and think about if it's the right thing. So like Anthony Mackie, I feel like he was just kind of cornered into a conversation that he usually doesn't have. It's crazy because Sebastian Stan had recently did a film where he was playing Trump, wasn't he?
Was he playing Trump?
Yeah, I think he played Trump in a film, and he got a lot of praise for the film. He did very, very well, as an actor. I think he got an award this past like Oscars or something. And I had noticed that him and like the Marvel crew had been kind of distant from each other. Like, because a lot of them are pretty political too. Like, they're all kind of like on the political landscape, and they kind of
I
like.
know Mark Ruffalo is like super.
Nobody cares. I know, Modric. I know nobody cares, but it's like, it's interesting because like, Anthony Mackie got a lot of hate for the shit that he said, and I think it was unnecessary. And the reason why is because I've really never heard. It's going good, brother. It's going good. I haven't really heard of Anthony Mackie like really being a political dude. Like, I kind of just think he kind of just does his own thing. Like, we all know Mark Ruffalo. Like, Mark Ruffalo out there being like, fucking freedom fighting all over the place. Same thing with like the downfall of Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers' chick. I forgot her name. Where she started becoming. Yeah, you remember that? Like,
well,
when that political shit kind of gets involved, like I think it kind of hurts a lot of people. You separate the fan base a lot harder. Then they start to judge you. It's hard to make sales. Like, and I feel like whoever kind of wanted. I feel like they tried to like politically corner Anthony Mackie off with a question like this. And I think he was very unprepared for it. Because like I mean, let me ask you guys, when we already know that Brave New World sounds kind of bad, right? Like, we can all agree with some of the stuff that people have been saying, like, it's kind of like, oof, it's going to be pretty rough. That's without like the political jargon of if it relates to like politics right now in our real world. But like, do you really care if Brave New World sits mirroring like things that are going on in present time, like our United States, our reality? Or would you like it to just stay like closer to like it's like fictional, like superhero, super powered stuff? Like, do you kind of think it would be a different talking point?
I mean, I would like for it to, but I mean, that's just not the way that
Like,
comic books work nowadays. Or really ever. I mean, this is also coming from the character who punched fucking Hitler in the face. So
yeah, but we all know that that's like that was just like what is it, like when Superman did it, or they did it to morale, keep the United States people like up.
But I mean, the fact still stands. Like real world events have influenced and touched comic books. We even saw this with the LGBTQ community.
On 9/11.
And 9/11 and other things akin to that. So this is unfortunately one of those things where we're like, I mean, we kind of can't run from it. I know that you and I have many times said that we like comic books because we get to separate our reality from it at times.
Yeah.
And it's true, because like, look at Siege, right? You're like, where exactly is Siege, in the political landscape of current, right? Like, how do you square that circle? But at the same time, like, we also kind of have to, remember this is one of those things where like it's going to be influenced by by present day events. I mean, after a while, I mean, you gotta find something to fucking write about, and sometimes like the craziest things are happening right in front of you
all the time. All the time.
Thanks a lot, Johnny.
Thanks a lot, Johnny. That's funny. But yeah, like, I don't know, like I had seen it happen this week, and it kind of like, because of course, like, you have very strong channels of other people that are, they're very politically driven, that are using this as a way to like drag out the vibe of the necessary unsuccessful work of what Marvel's trying to do. We all know that Marvel's going to switch spots because of like, of course, the movement in society that Disney likes to follow. I mean, if you were to go back to the early like 80s and 70s of Disney right now, you would associate Disney as being a bunch of racist assholes. But what they're doing is they follow the culture as what it's moving and what's okay in that time. And right now it's just a different culture, and it's like you can't please everybody. And I think like I think right now Marvel with the Russo brothers, they're gonna slightly move away from all the extra politics stuff that's been added in the last couple of years, and they're gonna kind of go back to the core values of making superhero movies, right? Like
I would hope so.
that's what I'm really hoping, dude, because I'm really tired of all the other stuff. But but yeah, like I feel like he just got cornered off, man, in a bad situation. David, what do you think about all this stuff?
I mean, I think they just blowing something out of proportion, to be honest. I mean, this movie was written and done many months ago, and for everything to play out the way it is, like, I think we're going to interpret it one way, or a certain group wants us to interpret it a certain way. But I mean, we have to remember that it's loosely based on fiction, right? It's loosely based on some events that have taken place, and it's so funny, bro, because I'm about to drop the Johnny line, right? We know that Johnny had some things and they got repeated. American history is the same, bro. There's things that have happened that unfortunately are getting repeated, the goods and the bads.
Thank you, Johnny, for yet again being another talking
back, bro. Hard back.
So hashtag confirmed Johnny Zamora new Captain America or what?
Yeah, dude. Hyperion confirmed.
Hyperion confirmed, baby.
Heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, so how do you guys feel? Like, okay, so then like Chris Evans came out and tried to save him. I think Chris Evans has always been like an awkward turtle. I love Chris Evans as Captain America. I think he does no wrong.
Well, he's gonna go out and save him, dude. First and foremost, this is his fucking character.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, hey, ooh.
Yeah,
maybe I wouldn't have done that.
He's gonna do the fucking basketball court scene where he's in the television. He's like, "Are you not wearing your clothes to class today? Remember the fucking Spider-Man? Fucking announcement.
You went to detention.
Yeah. Are you in detention again? I feel like Chris Evans is gonna come and try to save face for him, but I don't think he needs to. I think Anthony Mackie himself, as an actor and as a man, has been able to hold himself up. I think he's got such a great position in the fan base, especially him and Sebastian Stan's relationship. They have each other's back very, very well, and people find their relationship very charming and fun. And now they have each other's back. And again, I think there's moments, right? Like when tragedy happens, I think it's important for people in higher positions to let people know like everything's going to be okay. Right? When we had these accidents in the airplanes happen, right? That happened recently. And I think if you were to go out and, I don't know, like if you're on Twitter or X or something and you're following Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger makes a post and says, hey, you know what, even in this time of failure, like, we look at the brighter things in life and the lives, and you kind of being like, okay, like my hero told me something and I feel good, right? I feel like those are important when it comes for all of us, because in a time of tragedy, we need that help. But like if there's no tragedy and someone's just asking you like, hey, tell me what you think about this moment in a political nature, and it's either has to be right or left or whatever. It's almost like an entrapment. Like it's almost like it's setting you up for failure because half of the community is not going to agree with you already. You know what I mean? So like I don't know, like I just don't feel like those questions are like really nice to ask these guys. Like that's the thing you go for. But I don't know. Do you feel like those kind of questions should be like what do you call like filtered when it comes to like convention scenes and stuff? Like they should let people know ahead of time, like, hey, if you're gonna ask these dudes like where they stand on the political
but you could easily
spectrum,
just lie, be like, hey man, I'm just gonna ask him like what he thinks about seeing Red Hulk, or whatever.
Yeah, because I don't feel like it's the moment, man.
JK, motherfucker, what do you think Captain America stands for?
What got you to vote for Trump? Like, I just feel like those are the wrong type of questions to ask at those events, because everybody's having a good time. Everybody's dressed up as a cartoon character. Fucking weirdos are buying swords, and like other people are fucking buying Pokemon shits. And then you got one dude that's like, yo, bro. Like, yeah, the smell is, a whole other thing that you got to deal with at the convention scene. But like, what do you do, man? Like, what do you do? I think those kind of questions, they shouldn't even be involved. I think they should just filter those questions. I don't think they're good. Like, what do you think, Triggs? Like 100%. Like, do you think would you ever be that guy? Yeah, Debbie Downers, right? Chew? Right, Chew? Like Debbie Downers, man.
Man, I wouldn't want to be, because let's say I were to do something like that, right? Or we were to consider something like that. Boom. We're impeding on someone's rights. First Amendment. Blah 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 blah. I already hear it. This is boom. I can already hear the argument. You're censoring me.
Yeah.
This is the lack of First Amendment. Blah 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 blah. Boom. I'm canceled. Right. I don't believe in American values. I'm a racist. I'd like. I like what's happening in Ukraine. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
it creates a whole
like
other
they're going. Yeah,
right?
it's just going to spiral into another thing. Boom. Triggers canceled. That sort of shit. So. And this is just from like a PR standpoint, like I'm not even talking about like the moral standpoint on it, just from a PR standpoint. I just gave you a 10-second hypothetical, and boom, you have enough info to cancel me. I mean, there you go.
That's horrible. It really is, man.
Yeah.
And
that's how
people
fast
feel.
shit happens.
Yeah,
That's how fast shit happens. And I just gave a hypothetical. That was like that. There's no basis that like anything that I just said. But people will work out something that fast, that easily, and boom. Like there's no preparation for it. Two, on top of that, like what are you gonna do now? Like there's no way to like really defend yourself. On something. Trying to censor somebody. So, on the whole like Anthony Mackie thing, like. Hey man, like, welcome to the game, homie.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel bad for him, but he did answer. Like I feel bad, but he was ready to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, dude. It's one of those things. Like, man, welcome to the game. Like I don't know what to tell you, homie. Like, just call your publicist.
David, your take on it?
Bro, I think we should all just be like fucking Clarence and just keep it to ourselves, right?
Yeah, true.
Like honestly, bro, like I mean, we have this outlook, this thing that we do to relieve and relax ourselves. And yes, are some events related or based off past events that again repeat themselves in history? We don't want to ignore what's going on in the present, but we also don't want to mess up what we have. That's our outlet. But I mean, it's gonna be with your interpretation of the facts, bro. Like you can make anything just by thinking hard enough. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. It makes sense in my brain.
Yeah. It's a good point. Chuino in the podcast says it's getting to a point where everybody's walking on eggshells.
It is, man. And it's shitty. Like everyone. I'm not gonna say it like because I think this line is very, very played out. Even as true as it may still seem, I still feel that like I said, not at all to like to harp on something like this, but like everyone gets offended so easily. Yes and no. Like everyone's just more vocal about their offense now. People have always been offended for shit all the time. Just now people have a wider reach to let you know they're offended now.
Yeah, 100%. So, Mondo, what you missed is we had a conversation. We had Margaret on earlier. We were talking about Lighthouse Mitsuri. Now we are talking about the Captain America Brave New World debacle with Anthony Mackie in the UK convention, where they asked him if Captain America represents the current state of America. And he made a comment that was like, well, Captain America's for everybody. I really don't think he does. And people flipped out. Well, one side of the spectrum flipped out. And
no, he's racist. And
now he's racist. Now there's black dudes racist. Yeah. And right now we're actually just kind of like conversing in the idea if I think it's 100% that political conversations like that should be excommunicated from convention scenes, where that really shouldn't be a talking point. But Triggs brings up a good point. Like then people can be like, well, you're trying to suppress my freedom of speech. You're trying to stop me from protesting or whatever. But in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, it is a private event. So in the private event, it's not a public place where people can just come and go because you have to pay to enter. So they should have some type of litigation on what they can and can't do. But the reason why
I know for some of the big ones, they kind of do.
Yeah.
Like at some of the panels, like you're not going to get fucking 30 questions.
Yeah.
With the Russos asking like, is the next movie going to be called Endgame?
Yeah.
Is it going to be this?
Yeah, you're going to get some questions. Yeah,
can you tell me what's going to happen? Like they're going to get told, don't talk about this, don't talk about this, don't talk about this, don't talk about this.
Yeah.
Even with panelists, like they're like, it's you still kind of like have broad questions to like not mention.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, it's like even on Factor. What is it? The Kang guy. Like if they bring him back, they're not gonna be like, "Yo, don't mention
Are
the
you in the
fucking
next movie?
court."
You know, just,
Yeah, can you imagine someone be like, "Yo, well, so how was it beating that chick or whatever?"
yeah.
You're like, no, you don't ask that shit. Like they're probably gonna kind of like in that
Let
nature.
that bitch have it, didn't you? What's good, bro?
Someone just comes out and is like, "Yo, what that soft skin feel like on the knuckles, man?"
yeah.
Yeah. How many bumps to the head did that chick take before she went that? No, you don't talk like that.
Oh,
Like,
right?
yeah,
Fuck
you
that
got that
bitch, man.
Tell that chick, tell her, go back to the kitchen or whatever. Some
Yeah.
fucking feminist shit. I'm telling you, man, like there has to be like some type of like when they're walking up, if Jonathan Majors was there, they would be like, don't ask about the case. Don't ask about like what Marvel's gonna do since the case happened. Like nothing about the case. You can ask about Kang, you can ask about any of his other projects, but please do not bring up that. Right.
Yeah,
So that,
and you know,
that's
and
common.
even like I mean, I know like yeah, it does happen where like, hey, don't talk about XYZ subjects, right? You
Mhm.
know, or like even give someone like a little card. Like if you're gonna ask a question or you get picked to ask a question, please refrain from, you know, talking about XYZ. You know, they can't give any information. There you go. Like
Yeah.
blanket statement, you know, like it's more of a please refrain, please don't do it. Like if I mean, we can't say that you can't do it. We're just asking you not to do it.
I mean,
You
imagine,
know?
right? Like David,
Yeah.
David has his son in basketball. And David sometimes goes up to help like coaching when the coach is kind of like absent or not around.
Bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
I gotta work.
Hey, bro, I fucked up.
So, like, well, I mean, just imagine this. Imagine Dave is teaching basketball, he's helping the kids out, you know, kindness of his heart, and then all of a sudden, someone in the stand, one of the parents is like, "Oh, hey, David, what do you think about immigration?" And you're gonna be
Dude,
like,
my
"Wrong-
cousin's at
wrong
Pizza Hut
place,
right now, bro. My cousin's at Pizza Hut right now.
right
I'm
now,
getting right
dude. Let's
back
go to
to
Pizza
you.
Hut. Let's get a beer with my cousin. Put your mask on, dude. Put your mask on." Like it's just inappropriate times for inappropriate questions. I think that should be its own like skit. Like you just go around and just drop the most retarded questions on people in awkward situations. And that's what I think would happen. There is no place for them to ask that question. Like, what does it even matter if a fictional character that's based in its own universe represents our universe's current situation? It doesn't represent shit. Like they're dealing with Wakanda and a fucking giant body coming out of the water, a fucking guy in New York dressed as a devil beating the fuck out of people. Like another dude that's like a fat guy that went to prison is now the mayor. Like, well, I guess that's kind of correlating to the United States, right? There is a dude dressed as a spider, you know, fucking Thanos, you know, SpongeBob.
Did you see I'm
reference.
fighting a big red guy? Like
yeah.
I honestly,
fuck
I
happened
wouldn't
with
have even
President,
answered.
dude?
I would have. Did you see I'm
President
fighting a big
swole
red guy?
as shit, dude. He's on that trend, dude.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
on that fucking steroids and peptides. Like, you know, it's just a black dude with wings flying around the United States. It's got to be a little weirder than what we're dealing with, right?
Some shit.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel bad for Anthony Mackie. I really do because I love the guy. But yeah, that's my take on that shit. I hope you guys like it. Onwards to the last part of the conversation, right? Well, David.
Yes.
What's your point? What's your talk? What are you gonna say? I know you have something to say.
Fucking kids, bro.
Kids. And what?
Nah, bro. I mean, I'm gonna stick to my guns, bro. I'm gonna do the media answer, bro. Like, this is an outlet for us to have entertainment. We know the history of America and where it's been. Like, don't interpret something or try to make it bigger than what it needs to be, right? Just because Anthony Mackie said something out of context and Chris Evans wouldn't, the color of the skin doesn't fucking matter. It only matters if you make it fucking matter. Like, you know, at the end of the day, this is just going to be a movie, and what we're dealing with outside of the movie, we're going to deal with it in our own way, you know, and the way we interpret it in our own way as well. Just enjoy the movie, enjoy what, you know, they're trying to bring back, and that's it, bro. I mean, fuck it, bro. Like,
David, are you anticipating Captain America
Basically,
Brave
you're a
World?
bitch, you know.
Yeah, basically, stay in your lane. Tell him, David, stay in your fucking lane.
well, what was the question?
I said, are you anticipating to go see the movie Brave New World? Like, you're gonna go watch it?
Bro, I don't go to the movies. You know this. I hate people, bro. So But I mean, I will stream the fuck out of it.
Tienes manos, dude. I'm
Yeah.
reading tentacles.
He's like, yo,
Because
I'm vendor, and like,
if
people
I go
think
in
he's
there-
coming to my store, but fuck people, man.
If I hear my money's different, bro.
Wait a minute.
Money's way different. But if I hear some motherfucker, bro, in a theater say some dumbass shit, bro, I would lose my shit because I'm a huge Captain fan, bro, and I'm a big Marvel fan.
What's good, bro? What's good? Say something.
Bro,
Say
facts,
something.
bro.
Stand up. What's good?
You're gonna hear like fucking World Star, fucking Adam Collection shirt in the background, bro.
If I walk out of that movie and I am not happy with that movie, I'm swinging on the motherfucker first wearing a Captain America outfit. I don't give a fuck, dude. Some guy cosplaying, gonna go watch the film. It's a little kid. I don't give a fuck. I'm swinging on him. I'm like, get that shit out of here. Triggs, what about you, man? Like, how are you feeling for Brave New World? I mean, I know we've kind of heard some ups and downs. Like the trailer
Honestly,
dropped,
man,
dissected the shit out of it. Like,
I mean, dude, this is, honestly, man, I'm gonna see it. It's gonna be one of those where, like, I know that people are giving it shit, and like, now they have a little bit more ammo to fuel the fire and stuff like that. But David's right. Like, it was one statement that was that was taken out of context, out of a loaded question on something that he wasn't at all prepared to do. Like, you had that was like every event to fucking trip that guy up. And it happens. Fucking, it is what it is. People are gonna deal with it, like, in their own way. David's completely correct on that. But I mean, for me, it's kind of like, well, I mean, fucking, I personally don't give a shit because I'm just like, bro, like, at this point, what does it matter? Like,
Chicks like,
I mean, you just not see the movie.
yeah,
There's always that, like, you
It's
have
always-
that option.
I mean, even that concept, right? Like, it's like, some of the movies in the past have been pretty bad, so people could just choose not to watch it.
Yeah. Like, I guarantee you're not hurting them.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're still gonna get money. It don't matter.
They're going to make their 800 million.
I think this movie's gonna make some cash, dude, because of the Red Hulk, man.
Yeah, I guarantee you, dude. This is gonna hit a billy. Like, I feel that this could hit a billy, dude.
Yeah.
No fucking questions asked. Like,
I think it's gonna be up there,
yeah.
just on the fact that they have a Red Hulk.
better than Man on Web.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, just because of the fact that we've never really gotten a legitimate Marvel Hulk movie. Like, it's been what Avengers, the first Avengers movie. That was the last time. Oh no, what was it? Ragnarok. Right, that we got a pretty definitive, fun Hulk film. We got a lot of Hulk in it. I would say, like, what percentage? Like a 60% Hulk in the movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
up
there's
there.
a good Hulk presence in Ragnarok.
Yeah. But we never really seen like a Hulk out of control. We never saw, except for what was the other one? Civil War.
Was it Civil War or was it
You remember the
Age of
one, right?
Ultron.
Where they
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, where he fucking brainwashed?
That's where he goes. What's the chick does the fucking shit in her head?
Yeah.
The Wakanda or whatever, or Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones on steroids. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I kind of feel like the Red Hulk introduction is going to be a like, for the non-reader comic book readers. I feel like that's going to be the pulling point. Is you're going to actually get to see like a big old fun explosion, damage, cracking heads and destroying buildings kind of moment with with a flying dude. So not too bad. But yeah, I'm casually excited. Again, I'm a big fan of Anthony Mackie and what he's done for the Falcon character. So I think he's going to be fantastic. We had this conversation a couple of weeks ago where it's like, do we really think that Anthony Mackie is going to be able to carry a film as the primary person? I don't know, but I really feel like there's what's up?
He has before, so like I have faith.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I enjoyed the fuck out of his show with Sebastian Stan, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
dude,
I enjoyed the fuck out of that show.
On top of that, bro, look at Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal, he did pretty fucking good as the main
it wasn't
dude.
bad either.
Yeah, he carries. He hits his comedy. Like, he's a good guy. He delivers lines very well. Chaotic, what's up? Says, hey, how you guys going? To Gain for a while. How you guys been doing? You guys been on for a while, kind of stuff. Yeah. We're doing pretty good right now. We
Yeah,
are
it's
talking
going
about
to be on
Anthony
for a while.
Mackie.
Yeah, this is our last talking point. So you know,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we got this, and then the last one that we're going to talk about, of course, we got one more conversation to talk, but yeah, we'll make it quick though. But yeah, for the Anthony Mackie thing, I think he was just kind of cornered off. I am excited for the film. You know, I hope that it works out well. I'm gonna buy a fucking ticket and watch it. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I think Anthony Mackie just got caught in a really bad, weird situation. I don't think he's really making a lot of these types of mistakes anyway. So don't hate on him too much, guys. Don't let that be the factor that stops you from watching the movie. Go watch the movie, enjoy it yourself. On forwards to the last part of the conversation, which I think is super important. I think this is probably going to be the bigger talking point. I think Triggs is really going to have a good time with this conversation. There was talks this past week that James Gunn is getting sued for Superman. Yeah, Superman, super sued, man. Apparently the movie and the rights for Superman are being based off of the origins of DC Comics from what was the old school one that was All American comic books, the Superman where he's smashing the car into the
Joe
rock.
Shuster one?
Yeah, dude, they're suing him. That estate is suing James Gunn and Warner Brothers. Yep, because they did not pay royalties to Superman and they're using the likeness with the underwear on the outside.
Bro.
I was like, I'm gonna say that.
I knew them undies were gonna get you in trouble, bro.
Yeah,
that's something, man. That's crazy.
I know, Triggs. I mean, I know that you're like me. You're like a comic book fan, and I know, like, you know, the general idea. Some people are gonna be like, "Why is that so important?" And it's very important. It's very, very important. What's up, Cam? Good to see you, my
crazy.
Any of you guys in the comment section, comic book fans and comic book readers, James Gunn, Warner Brothers, and all that whole shit right now is going through some bad debacle with the original creator of Superman and the original creator of Action Comics, who are suing Warner Brothers and the production of the Superman film for using the likeness and rights of Superman without royalties coming back to the estate. Triggs, how do you feel about this? This is important, bro, because we always talk about Bendis, Aaron. We talk about all these famous writers that make all these amazing stories for all these different characters. And sometimes they do not get the opportunity to be respected enough and they get bought out. And so they like, we were just talking about this with Deadpool, right? With what was that? Liefeld, right? Rob Liefeld. Yeah. He only got bought out for real estate, or not real estate, but like royalties, just so he can be like just so he can be shut it up and they can do whatever the fuck they want with the characters. But again, so here we are. But this goes deeper, bro, because this is like almost like the bloodline of American comic books. This is Superman. This is like Action Comics, dude.
Yeah, dude.
How do you feel about this, knowing that they were going to try to bamboozle these fucking dudes and not pay them? And they're not even on the fucking production team for at least story or like, you know what I mean? Like there's something about this that doesn't fit right. Like it doesn't feel right. I wish Brian was here. He would tell me I'm freaking out, but I'm not.
Nah, I'm right.
Right,
dude, that's yeah, man. Like when it comes to that, I mean, that's like now saying you're not gonna pay Bill Finger's family for anything regarding super, you know, Batman. You know, that's a thing, dude. But here's the thing, you know, like I know we're like technically Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster lost their suit not once but twice. Mm-hmm. So I know that they don't own it. I'd really have to dive a little bit more into like the like actual rights of Superman. You know who'd be able to tell us? Nick Garber. But
Nick Garber, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, dude. Crazy. Cause now it's I mean, now you got to pay the estate, but where's the estate going? I mean, do you just pay like, you know, fucking Warner Brothers, you know, or like whoever owns DC and stuff like that? Isn't it Warner Brothers or whatever?
That's a dick move, right?
Oh yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know, if he actually thought he can get away with it.
Oh shit, we're getting raided in Twitch. I love these guys.
Yeah, bet.
Yeah,
Twitch raid.
Thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate you guys. So the raids and stuff. Thank you, Camps and all the guys, Moldrick and stuff. They always bring these guys in from Twitch. We love you guys. Thank you so much. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up in conversation because dynamically it really goes against the comic book community, right? Like the idea that these guys are willing to bypass the original people who worked their fucking asses off to create an IP and make it popular. I mean, we got to remember that there were so many times back in the day that they would get like, they had the spaghetti moment. We talk about it a lot, where they would just throw a bunch of random characters at the wall, and whichever one stuck is the one that they would go with, right? And this is fucking Superman. This is like iconically the greatest comic book IP known to society, known to our communities. Like everybody, it's synonymous with a family-owned name. So like, and they were willing to kind of bypass one of the biggest names in creating the character and growing him to not pay him out, dude. Like that's low down, bro. That's so fucking low. So low.
Yeah, dude, that's something
do you think they have a case against this? And how do you think this hurts James Gunn and his approach to the Superman films and stuff like that? I mean, Vince earlier in the comments was like, yo, this movie can probably get canceled for this. Like, you know what I mean?
Probably not. I mean, yeah, they're probably not wrong for that, dude. But you know, honestly, it's kind of one of those like, who the fuck knows sort of situations. You know, like it kind of like it's gonna fall on to like who has the better lawyer. You know, I mean that's really what's gonna fall down to. Who's got the better lawyer? You know, and who's gonna see, you know, Jerry Siegel, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, and and they sold the rights for $130. I don't know if anything's ever been retained back to Shuster and Siegel since 38, but because I think just like DC owns Superman.
So the lawsuit states that the creators had initially licensed the rights to Marvel to Detective Comics, which would later become DC Comics, and it argues that British law means that Shuster's right reverted to his estates back in 2017, 25 years after the illustrator's death. So yes, it does show that he did sell sold the rights for 130 in 1938, but due to the way British law in Parliament is, it reverted back in 2017. It claimed that
Schuster needs to get his money.
He's dead. He's been dead for a while.
Yeah,
it's just.
Well, so is Bill Finger, but you know his grandkids are raking in money right now.
So the way it says is, it's claimed that Warner Brothers had unlawfully failed to pay royalties for the use of the character in other countries outside of the U.S., Britain, Canada, and Australia. The suit seeks to monetary damages to the company, as well as court order that would prevent depictions of Superman without licenses. That's fucked, dude. If they don't get the license for it, they can't use him in the film. That's crazy, which I really doubt. There's no way they're going to hold that shit. They're going to pay out. They're going to give him a couple of cheeseburgers from McDonald's. They're going to be all right, dude. You watch. Like they just want some fucking, what do they get? Fish and chips, dude. Fish and chips. Yeah. Some fish and chips. Responding to the lawsuit, a representative of Warner Brothers says, "We fundamentally disagree with the merits of the lawsuit and will vigorously defend our rights," which means fuck those people. Fuck you. We have money and we're gonna throw it at fuck you. But yeah. The suit is not intended to deprive fans of their next Superman film, but rather seeks to comprehension of Joe Shuster's fundamental contribution as the co-creator of Superman. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. This movie's about to, I guarantee, dude, I guarantee this movie's going to be close to like that $1 billion shit we're talking about. And if the Schuster, I mean, I don't know if the Schuster family deserves it, but like if Schuster was alive, you know, he deserves.
I mean, honestly, like, you know,
that kind of works kind of correlates, right?
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they 100% deserve everything that they can get as far as like Superman is concerned. You know,
but if their fucking kids are doing, you know, fucking, you know, bull off of some hooker's back in the corner of like Walmart or whatever, like, no, dude. No, they don't deserve that money. What the fuck? But
hey, man, fucking dude, Bob Kane, I'm sure she did shit like that, and that motherfucker owned Batman.
Yeah, well, not the ones that aren't contributing to the Superman movies or stories or whatever. But yeah, Trig, so how do you feel about this?
I mean, give them the slice of their pie, dude. Fuck, you know, make sure you pay them out.
Yeah, pay them out. David, what do you think?
I mean, bro, honestly, like from a business standpoint, maybe they thought they made a good decision at the time. But I mean, you always gotta respect the OG, bro. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like if you're not gonna pay him out, you got to give him credit, at least like publicly.
Yeah, like
right?
Game Store, like what is it? GameStop credits and shit.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
or
dude.
something.
Yeah, look them up, dude. Pay them in V-Bucks and shit.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I say pay these motherfuckers in V-Bucks, man. Like, I don't know who the fuck is. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Pay them out. Pay them out. Give them tickets to Warner Brothers Studios or whatever, man. I don't know. Like, what's that Harry Potter place? Universal Studios. Fuck them.
That
Yeah,
one's
I 100% think they just need to pay out because there's no way they're gonna fucking let this thing go fucking with all the downfall that Warner Brothers has been dealing with in the last like what fucking 10 years or whatever. Like they don't need this. They do not need this. But yeah, just pay,
All
get
the
the
smoke.
license, keep it going. Fuck, I don't even know what they do from there, bro, really. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think they just need to take care of it and get it out of the way. David, what do we got going on, man? Let us know what's up with you. Let us know where we can find you. We're about to come show it in.
Well, I mean, I'll be doing a podcast, guys. I don't even know when. I don't even think I'm gonna do a set day. I know I used to do Fridays, right? But
Damn.
stay in touch, guys. Follow us at Adam Collections, Facebook / Adam Collections, I believe. Let me double check this to make sure I'm getting it right. Yeah, Adam Collections 956.
Yeah.
956 cuz.
Cut.
More importantly, guys, support small business, like and share. It costs you nothing. And bigger thing is stay safe out there, guys. It's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
P. Diddy's free.
Yeah, man. You know, we got protests.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the flu and shit? I'm fucking scared of P. Diddy more than the flu, man. I ain't know.
Bro, I'm scared of driving down 10th Street and being late to work, bro. That's what I'm scared
dude.
of. Fuck that, bro.
Yeah, man. I know you don't come to McAllen all that often, you know.
Yeah.
But dude, we have protests going on, cut.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Did you guys see that? Hey, shout out to the people that went out there.
I had to drive by it, my guy.
You did?
Yeah.
What they do? They slow you down or what?
No, I was on the expressway, but bro, my God, they were on it, man.
Well, good on them, man. I mean, that's I mean, we all may see different eye to eyes on the situation, but good on them for being out there and, you know, fighting for their situation and shit like that. I really do appreciate that shit. Even if people don't agree or disagree or whatever, I'm just happy people are out there doing their own things. Go out there and touching grass or whatever they need to do. I love it. I appreciate that so much. As long as they're not inside playing fucking Marvel Rivals right now and they're outside doing something, that's great. Yeah, dude, because if you're inside, P. Diddy can get you, bro. I've been noticing there's a lot of baby oil going off the fucking racks, dude. Off the racks, boy. So just watch your buttholes, boys. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Keep the cake all clean. Triggs, what about you? What do you got going on for the coming week, man?
Honestly, man, not a damn thing. Right now, all I've really got going on is work, more work. I am 100% dreading Valentine's Day because I'm going to be working
too, bro. I understand.
And I know it's just going to be stupid crazy, and I'm going to be tired, and I'm going to come home, and I'm going to want to kill myself. So yeah.
You should, you know what you should do at work, Triggs, is when guys come in with chicks, you should look at them and be like, and kind of be like, weren't you here like last week with someone else? Like,
bro, dude, that would be so funny.
Just pick
if I was gonna get fired, that would be a good way.
There'd be a good lottery ticket for one dude just to pick on that night and be like, you know what, I'm gonna look at this guy like, and then look at the girl and be like, what can I get you, guy? Oh man, okay, this week, cool, man.
Just wait for the tip,
you
bro.
give him like the thumbs up, like good on you, bro. Good on you. And then you say something random like upgrade, nice, and then walk away, dude.
Upgrade, bro.
That would be so fucking dirty, dude.
This one's nice, dude. This one's
so
nice.
dirty. Oh no, man. Gotta just cause a little turmoil, man. Wednesday he's gonna be lazy and not go to work. Perfect, dude. Perfect. Yeah, other than that, what is it? Online Destiny fucked up. Hassan Piker fucked up. He got called out by H3. I said that earlier. Did you see that shit?
Dude, okay. So yeah, the whole like Hassan Piker thing, like that, like even with the weight that like Ethan Klein thinks that he has, you know, on that, I was kind of like, whatever, dude, fuck it. But the whole Destiny thing, bro. Dude. All right. I have zero political affiliation. I do not talk about my political affiliations either. But with that being said, I have seen Destiny try and debate people, and it basically just comes down to you're stupid, I know more than you.
Yeah.
That's his whole shtick. Whole shtick. So he had a debate with Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
And so for people who don't know, Jordan Peterson is like a very toned down Andrew Tate. Like he really believes in men's values and like and
Great
like
grandpa guy.
yeah, and like but he believes in wholesome values. There are times where I guess he can get a little like leaning towards the misogyny kind of thing. But but he's not a prick about it. Anyway, he debates destiny on like various political topics, and you could tell Jordan Peterson went in with a fucking manila folder and a notepad. Like he came in with facts, bro. Like come at it. And dude, it was just so funny watching this guy just like, oh well, I think this. And he was just like, but you just said that this. And so like following that logic, we're predicating things on your word and blah blah blah. So then don't you think that this would happen? He was like, oh well, like it's not as simple as that. And he was like, making it that simple. Well, and then blah blah blah. It was just so funny to watch. The two of them like go back and forth with it. But still, it was like one of those things where like, bro, like this was a thing, dude.
It's been going on for a minute. He debated this dude that was part of this dude was like a President Trump like member of his board, like that actually sat there, and this dude like was spouting off like some of those random shit, and the guy was making like the most like egregious faces that he couldn't believe this guy was actually like saying these things out loud. And he's like, dude, what are you fucking talking about? Like, and this guy like worked alongside and was willing to answer every fucking question that this person could literally ask him. But instead, like that Destiny dude was like, what you said, he was just like, well, you're wrong and I'm right. Like, it doesn't matter what you're going to say. I'm right and you're wrong. And it's the craziest thing. So now that dude's getting called out because apparently he was videotaping inappropriate actions with females that he was having. And then he released it revenge porn wise. And some of these people worked with him. They didn't know he was recording. And some of them were barely like 19 years old. Yeah. And it's been going on for a minute. I don't know if you know who these guys Preach and Abba are. Preach and Abba? Abba's this guy. He's like a political speaking guy, kind of like providing like the masculine corner for people to kind of like be stronger and be like that. Like you said, the Andrew Tate kind of mentality, a little bit less provoking and more, trying to be more insightful for it. And he's really good friends with Destiny. In fact, he's, gone to his house, had dinner with him and his wife at the time, ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, the one that left him. And has been there as a friend morally. And even that guy made a video that was like, yo, I got to call this guy out on his bullshit. Like, he's my friend, but when my friend murders someone, I'm going to call you out and I'm going to get you fucking arrested. Like, that's not right because you broke the law. So yeah, dude, it's been going crazy, man. But yeah, it's been nuts because all of these guys have been under the political debating scene for a while. And it's like the internet's going crazy, bro. Yeah, crazy. I wanted to ask you guys one last thing. What do you think about the Uber XL conversation? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I would have ordered an Uber XL.
Did you see this, David? David, you are how tall are you, David?
6'5", bro.
6'5", and you're a big dude, man.
I'm 6'5", 525, dog.
If you called an Uber and the guy showed up like in a fucking
I'm calling another Uber.
A Honda Civic, a 98 Honda Civic EX Coupe.
Yeah, dude.
To pick your ass up.
Bro, I'm carrying that on my back, bro.
Yeah, would you be like, hey, dude, you know what? I think your car might be a little too small. Let me call someone else or whatever. Like, would you kind of be considerate to the option of it?
I mean, I would never put myself in that position, but if I did,
thank you.
Point.
If I did put myself in that position, I mean, bro, don't be a dick. You know what I mean?
But did you guys see the video though?
I mean, I didn't see the video. I saw pictures. Lots of pictures.
Trix, did you see the video?
No, I haven't seen the video, but
the guy was not being, and I don't think he was being any way disrespectful. The guy was literally like, "Hey, you know what?
You big, all right? I don't want to tell you, bitch, you big."
Yeah, he wasn't even like that. He was just like, "Hey, I really think that it would be a better idea to go Uber XL. I have, my tires aren't that good. He was dropping all the expense to not be like you're a big bitch, like." Like, you know what I mean? He was using every other nice thing. And she was even like, well, what about my money? And he's like, it's okay. I'm going to cancel it. You're going to get your money right back. I really do recommend that you call an Uber XL. And this chick went fucking ballistic. I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna do this. But like, what do you guys think? Like, what is your guys' true mentality on this? Like, if you go to an airline,
with something
and airlines
like
are
that,
safe, people, they're safe.
honestly, with something like that, then like let's say that is the case, right?
Yeah.
And if you're gonna take the L, you're really gonna take the L. See if you could get like one of your codes, like, because I know that like sometimes they get like they get Uber options for free and shit like that. I would just give her one of my codes and be like, hey, this is my code. Use this for like a free Uber XL. Like this is basically on me. I'm sorry, I can't accommodate. My vehicle is just small. And just like, hey, I'm trying to help you out. Sort of shit. Get like not just give them the option. Like I would try and provide more options because I work in the service industry. When I have to say the word no, I can't just let that be that. I need to provide an option outside of their selection. Like I can't always just be like, I ain't got that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love saying shit like that. It brings joy to my heart. It genuinely does.
I was watching, what is it, Charlemagne the God and the Andrew Schaefer guy, and he was like, "Bro, I fat shame people all the time. I've been fat shaming people all my life. I grew up in the culture of your mama's so fat. Like I am about this, but fat people were never so soft. They would instantly have some kind of fun back because fat people are funny too." And he's like, "But this bitch ain't funny." She's straight suing Uber, saying that she was offended. Like, so yeah, now and of course Uber bent the knee. So I'm so sorry on Twitter. We'll fix everything. Like, please, like, don't stop being a customer. But it's like, okay, so what do you do? Like, these people that do Uber are voluntarily providing a service out of their own heart to make a couple of extra bucks that don't even really pay a lot. Like, they are out there just trying to do small.
Like on some real shit. Some of them do.
Yeah, man. Some of these people like they're trying, man. They're just trying to make money just to like make ends meet. And then you show up and it's a fucking this lady, God bless her fucking clogged heart, but like, dude, like this bitch is just she wilding, man. Like I don't know. I don't know how to take it. Like this chick is like, I think it's a dick move to be on the other end, the guy's end, because how do you deny someone that service? Yeah. Like you made the distance, you drove over there, you show up, and this person looked like that rapper guy. What's that one that's been laying down drinking fucking fucking Henny, or what's that shit that he's been drinking?
The double cup shit.
Yeah, he's been drinking the sipping syrup.
The lean.
Yeah, the lean. Meme. Yeah, exactly. The meme.
No,
he's like
that's what it's called. It's called lean.
Yeah, he's been drinking lean. I'll put fat rapper drinking lean. Jeez. And this dude's gonna pop right up. Boom. Yep, there he is. David Blunts.
Why is it gotta be David, bro? The fuck?
Why it's gotta be David? Leave me alone. Man. Yeah, if you guys want to check this out,
drink lean, dog. I don't tell you, dog.
And again, like this is now in a situation where this guy is a rapper. He does shows, and he's a big dude now, man. Like this dude, like he's doing shows sitting down. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be in trouble. Like, you know what I mean? Like physically, that's a bad way to try to make yourself, or at least like live your life. He out there doing concerts like this with an oxygen tank, and it's crazy. Like this guy needs to check out for himself. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? What do you do in the situations when someone shows up and they're like a little bit bigger than normal? That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Let me get your free code to Uber XL.
Yeah. My computer is now warm and heating up because of the weight of that photo. You know what I mean? That search. But like, what do you do? People in the comment section. I see a couple people are still here. What do you guys do in that situation? Like, how do you approach it? Do you just say, "Yeah, jump in my car, dude. I'll fix the suspension later." Like, you know what I mean? Like, then tomorrow I'm gonna go to Home Depot and pick up 18 bags of concrete and put it in here. You don't do that shit. Like, you just don't do that shit. That's not what you use a car for. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. How do you not know about David Blunts? I don't know. I'm not good, man. Smiley, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But
I don't listen to that hip hop.
I don't listen to hip hop. Team America, or was it fucking South Park the movie? Haven't you heard of the
Emancipation Proclamation?
Emancipation Proclamation. I don't listen to hip hop. But yeah, like I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to see what your guys' point of view was. I thought it was probably the craziest out of pocket topic that I could kind of bring up in the free talks. And yeah, that's about it. Triggs, you got anything else? Yeah. Moral of the story: watch your shit.
Yeah, don't be fat.
Don't call Uber, man. Don't call Uber.
Don't be a dick, bro.
Yeah, don't be a dick, dude. Because it's like, I feel like the guy handled this shit well. I feel like the girl is kind of being a cunt, or at least petty. Like, I'll be like, I'll tell her like, hey, I'll tell you what, if you can, I'll give you $1,000 if you can run over here and stand like a half a football field away and just hold $1,000 and be like, here, I'll give it to you right now.
I won't do a damn thing if you could touch your toes.
I mean, I would have just simply said, look, if I don't have to help you in the car, then you're good. I think that would have been the primary objective, because I really don't think she was going to get in the car like successfully on her own. Mm-hmm. Like she was a big lady, man. I don't know if you guys seen pictures of this lady. She's a big lady.
No, she's she was,
and
she
it's
was
like
she was round in all the wrong places, man.
Yeah, and it was like a Ford Taurus, dude. And she's gonna jump in the back seat. And in my mind, I'm like, ugh, that's a rough fit. That's a rough fit. But yeah. So boys, onwards into the next week. We don't got much going on. We have, of course, I think Captain America drops. Let me get the date real quick. Captain America: Brave New World. Let me see, release date. We got February 14th. It's coming up. Not this week, but I guess next week. Yeah, and again, when it comes out, guys, we'll make sure that we have some type of review or some type of comments on the film. Yeah, and also don't forget, even though probably half of the community doesn't care because everybody's tired of their shit, Marvel has already dropped Spider-Man episode 1 and 2 First Class. If you haven't seen, Triggs, have you seen it?
No.
That's how bad it is, boys. That's how fucking fun. That's how bad it's fallen. Is we would be up all night waiting for these bitches to drop. Spider-Man. Brand new animated series just dropped, and no one gives a flying fuck, dude. 2 episodes dropped. The new one, the freshman year or whatever, Triggs. It just dropped. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. But it dropped.
Yeah, everyone's black. Yeah,
that's crazy,
black.
Right?
Yeah,
can you imagine? Imagine how far we've fallen. You know, Icarus has gotten this close to the sun that no one gives a shit that a Spider-Man animation drop. Smiley in the comment section says, if you saw the OG video of Dank Demos, the guy it's saying saying it respectfully, she got the guy fired from Lyft. Sad story. I didn't even know that. So that guy got fired. Yeah, wow, that's fucking trash. You're like, what's that guy gonna do? Like, you do that shit voluntarily to make money. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a boss, dude. How do you get fired from a voluntary shit?
Well, like, you still work for a company.
That's disgusting, dude. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That's sad news. Well, fuck that. That guy needs a GoFundMe. Oh yeah, guys, don't forget Michael Betancourt GoFundMe too. Guys, jump on that shit. Also, oh yeah, that reminds me. Okay, so in the comment section right now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to the podcast. Right, copy. This is for Triggs in case he wants to put it in his. And David, you already have it, right?
Yeah, I sent it in the beginning.
So here we go, guys. This is a link to the podcast Geeks 5 Ever, which is the podcast that dropped that was talking about Lifetime Mystery, which we had about our first conversation. It's roughly about a 3-hour podcast. These guys are from Houston, dropping some information on a convention that dropped here in the Valley this past weekend, which was a really big debacle, a lot of drama, a lot of crazy shit that happened, but very important if you're in the Comic-Con scene to understand that there's people out there that are predators, you know, Chris Hansen style, trying to take your money and not fuck anybody, but like take your shit and fuck you over. No Diddy shit. And he didn't even use fucking baby oil, bro. So you guys just be aware. Check it out if you can. Give him a shout out. Tell him the Average Boy sent you. Next week, I am planning on bringing a guest from the Valley. It's a person who does singing. They went on a show recently and they hit me up and they want to do a podcast. I want to bring them on next week. Triggs and I and Brian talk about it and get a little bit more information about it. Midweek, I'll try to see if I could drop some type of advertisement to let you know who we're talking about and stuff like that. Really cool person. They hit me up. And yeah, I really hope you guys are being safe. Triggs, I know you're a busy guy. Thank you for jumping in. David, I know you're a busy guy too. I appreciate you so much. I've been busy myself this past week, and I'm sorry I've been kind of like dead silence, but We back, motherfuckers, like a fat girl and a Uber XL. We are catching on and getting some movement, and we will be back up and running smoothly. Brian, we missed you today, bro. We hope you're good out there. And everybody that joined us today, we appreciate every one of you. Chew and you, man, we need to bring you on the podcast, man. Come in and just have a big ass talk with Dell and the boys and just kind of talk the shit, shoot the shit, you know, do the whole podcast con or whatever we were going to do or whatever, just kind of run it through. And
Yeah, dude.
to everybody out there, to all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate everybody out there in Twitch, Camps, Moldrick, all the guys out there in Twitch land. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for the jump in and the raid and all that stuff. We appreciate you guys helping us out. We love you guys. And stay safe. Watch out for the flu, drones, and all that shit. And yeah, don't get stuck in P. Diddy's house. We love you. Be careful. Peace. Laters, folks. Let me get to this thing. It's so hard to run this show. Laters.